Give in, citizen, give in.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, June 26, 2014. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 629er.
This is No Agenda.
Exploring exigent circumstances here in FEMA Region 6 in the Travis Heights Hideout, the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I just got off C-SPAN, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yeah. Did you say just got off on C-SPAN or just got off C-SPAN?
Just got off.
Oh, okay. Because
I don't know how anyone could get off on.
It could be either one.
Just got on C-SPAN.
Yeah, everybody, we just did a little pre-stream, and John has got this new voice thing that he's working on. New. Now, did you only send me one thing with clips? Because I got clips one.
Only one thing, yes.
This is very strange to hear you do
Your new
that.
partner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, it's my new partner on the show. You know, I'm so angry at myself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, how stupid am I?
I'm wondering myself.
Yesterday, we did an hour of our best material, and I didn't record it, and I easily could have recorded it.
Oh, you mean go we could have put that. Yeah, actually, that would have been, I think people would have found it useful.
just imagine, John gets his D-Star handheld rig.
Yes.
And it's the ID51, so it's dual band, so it's similar to the one I have, only it's a little classier because you have two bands. And I'm now going to talk John through configuring repeaters on D-Star, and it goes something like this. Can you see at the top left hand of the screen? He says, I don't know, a little black thing. But I need a magnifying glass. I said, do you have one? Yeah, it's in my coat pocket somewhere. I don't know. It's with all the flashlights. I can't find it. Okay. It was kind of like I'm in the tower and I'm talking to the stewardess who's going to land the 747, only the stewardess has a wooden leg and cataracts. It was really hilarious. And at a certain point, I have John walking around the house, holding up the antenna and left foot in the air. And then it turned out that I'd completely forgotten an essential registration step, which we had no chance even to start with. So,
yes. Did you do that yet?
Yeah, I did. Did you receive an email about the registration?
No.
Okay. Well, you may. I don't know. Yeah, it hasn't been.
It's not registered yet because I keyed it up a little while ago and it didn't say anything.
No. It's worse than that. There's a registration.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. First, you apply. It's easier to register for the U.S. Customs Global Entry System. First, you apply to a D-Star administrator, and then when they approve you, then you still have to go in and do your little setups. It's horrible.
Okay, let me ask a couple more dumb questions, like the one I asked earlier, which is why doesn't it give you an error message if you're not registered?
Oh, it's amateur radio.
And I think the word's appropriate in this regard. It should say you're not registered or something. It doesn't say anything at the repeater. No. So. Now, the next thing that came to mind, which after we discussed it, and we already hung up and I was off in the kitchen, I said to myself, wait a minute. This handheld device is owned by, it's owned by me, but it's an ICOM device.
Yeah.
And D-Star is pretty much a proprietary repeater network that ICOM has something to do with, no, right?
ICOM are, as far as I know, the only major manufacturer who support it. Yeah, it's pretty much the only guys who make the radios. Yes, keep going.
So if you key it, the repeater system should be able to look at the ID of the handset and say, oh, it's an ICOM user. He's obviously qualified to be on this network. Let's just put him on.
John, the Curry Dvorak Consulting Group could do a lot to help the ICOM communications group with their issues of configuration. It's completely stupid. But at least when it's done, you're like, hey, not everybody. Yeah. I'm glad I took the test. Not everybody can do this. Anyway.
Yes, it was a lot. There was a number of, I think, I don't know how things deteriorate so much, but I found it, and I mentioned this to you. I don't know if this is going to bore everybody, except a few hams in the audience. But I mentioned to you that this reminds me the way the menu structure works is of the earlier Symbian
Yeah,
cell
Nokia.
phone.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because you click, it says, I want to change my ID. And so you hit a button and it says, you sure?
Really?
Yeah. That's why I hit the button in the first place. Why do I have to confirm this?
Even that rocker in the middle is just like the first cell phones.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
you think that's bad? You should try the Yaesu interface. This is beautiful compared to. Anyway, just so you know, please don't email us. It's not a proprietary protocol. Don't. Stop. Do not. We'll never talk about ham stuff again if all you Nazis are going to start saying, it's not proprietary. It's open source. Don't want that. I have enough grief on my email already. Anyway, I am monitoring Reflector 033 Charlie at all times. And that's where we hang out. That was actually, we had one of the No Agenda hams even helping us out, N2RFA.
Yeah. Had to change the step.
It's like we're Waldorf and Statler trying to configure D-Star. It's a nightmare. Anyway.
Get your technician's license, people. It's no big deal.
You really should. It's fun. And you too can have fun like us. I got a BitTorrent Sync update.
Ah, right.
Now this is starting to be interesting.
Well, you made it interesting with your complaining. You might as well reiterate what that is.
Well, BitTorrent Sync, by the branding alone, gives you the illusion or the impression, I'll start by saying that this is a very simple way to use the BitTorrent magical network to share files. And we have been, with some large degree of success up until recently, been distributing the No Agenda show in that fashion in addition to the standard manner. And it's really started to break down, and people weren't able to get anything working, and the mobile clients started to fade away and not work. I have the same problem here, and a lot of people have been contacting BitTorrent Sync support, which is great, because that's who you should be contacting, but they contact me too. Hey, it didn't work. What am I doing wrong? Sorry. I'm watching C-SPAN. And this stuff is beta, so we really have nothing to complain about. We knew that anything could go wrong. Now, as it turns out, there's a limit on these on BitTorrent Sync to 50 clients, and at first I thought it was per peer, so I could have 50 connected to mine, but one of those 50 could have another 50 connected, and you would swarm out. Well, not so. Total max continuous connections per, what they call it, secret, which is kind of the identifier, the string, so you can get into this folder, is 50. So if there's 50 people sucking down the file, 51 has to wait until 50 disconnects. And a lot of people aren't disconnecting because BitTorrent implies that you want to help the network by seeding it.
Right.
So a lot of people are staying connected, and so the whole thing breaks down. Now, you correctly said, they're going to have a meeting because we're talking about it. And indeed, they had a meeting. And they came out, although they didn't send it to me, they put it on their blog, a call for alpha testers for BitTorrent Sync. We're launching a community testers program to help build future versions of BitTorrent Sync. Sync began as an experiment and rethinking the way we manage our files, working with our community. We built a strong alternative to the public cloud, blah, 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 blah. Of course, they don't ask me, the most vocal guy, who has an audience we can really do some stuff. No, please don't email me about it. But I can tell you that this is not going to work for us. And it was actually one of our producers who's a music industry insider who set me straight, really, on why this will never work. So let's just look at what BitTorrent has. You have the BitTorrent protocol, which works great for large file distribution, but you have to download a special client, and it's a whole nother process. And what I misunderstood, I thought that BitTorrent Sync was taking the analogy of Dropbox, which millions of people understand, and applying that to BitTorrent Sync, which is it's really only a user interface change if you think about it. But there's a huge difference when you move towards the Dropbox model. And the Music Business Insider said, believe me, Adam, these guys they're a legitimate company. They cannot allow people to start sharing files in this manner. And Dropbox, they scan your folders now. If you've got licensed music in there, they detect it and they'll either lock the folder or remove it, or they'll bust you one way or the other. And I think our insider is correct by saying they're never going to, maybe they'll do 100, but they'll never have an unlimited BitTorrent swarm the way BitTorrent works. This is their money-making product, which is great if you're just looking to share files with a couple people in a business environment or with friends and family and not have a Dropbox in the middle. That could be great. It's not going to work for us.
Well, there goes the future of distribution.
Well, I have some thoughts. One, people. When you send me an email and you're going to say, look at this sync thing. It's open source alternative sync thing. This is going to be great. This is perfect. Because sync thing, which is an open source product, says this is an alternative to BitTorrent Sync and Dropbox. And people email me, yeah, try this out. No.
Is that same guy? I don't understand why he keeps pestering you.
If you read 3 sentences further, you'll see that with SyncThing, you have to authenticate every new user. Listen, I have no time to be authenticating thousands of users. This is not going to work. However,
you're authenticating all day. This is not a 2-bit operation.
Right. So we are going to deprecate BitTorrent Sync, but I would like to point out the following, which works very well. I tested it last night, and I hadn't looked at it in a while. uTorrent, which is a client, a BitTorrent client. It's like as the micro U sign. I just call it uTorrent.
Yeah, it probably means microtorrent.
Yeah, it probably. Well, I call it uTorrent, but it's a very simplified interface. Will accept RSS feeds with BitTorrent enclosures. And we have had for years now through the fine guys over there at BitLove, we have a BitTorrent RSS feed. And it's always been on the homepage of all the show notes. It says, hey, here's the BitTorrent RSS feed. You put that into uTorrent, boom, immediate. It's like all of a sudden you have a podcatcher. It kind of looks like iTunes, actually. It even does the album art. I don't know how they do that. And when a new one shows up, you can have it automatically download. And this is the kind of thing that you do want to keep on and seeding because it's really the BitTorrent network. Now, unfortunately, it's not as easy as the Dropbox metaphor. But of course, you could have that download into a BitTorrent sync folder and sync it up with any other device you want. So there's a million things you can do. And I think that is the only way we can go. I still feel that's the future of media distribution, and the microtorrent or uTorrent interface is very familiar. You look at it like, oh, I put the feed in here, and here's the episodes, and you click on it, or you can have it automatically download when a new one comes out. So, but it's not going to be BitTorrent Sync. I just don't see how they can do it from a business standpoint. It's just not going to work. Sorry.
Well, that takes care of that.
Yeah.
I call it a dead end, which is a shame. But that's the way it is.
It is a shame.
Well, they need to make some money. I hope they do.
Yeah, but they definitely, this will be their money-making thing, however they do it. But the concept is great, so we'll work on that.
So I sent a newsletter out.
Yeah.
And then after I sent it out, I noticed that I had these 2 new donation models, one for Europe, 4/7, to celebrate the July 4th holiday, which is coming up next Friday.
Yes.
And then I realized that I just didn't even pay tribute to Australia. And I felt bad about this. So I said, well, we should do a special thing for the next Australian holiday.
Oh, okay.
So I printed out the holidays in Australia in 2014. They have 1 million holidays that are all kind of proprietary holidays. They have the number of national holidays they have is like 4 or 2. There's New Year's and Christmas. And let me see if there's any others on here. No, they're all locals or they're religious. And you go down the list. Let me give you an example. It starts with January 1st. The national holiday. Oh yeah, the one other national holiday is on January. Everything's in January. the other national holidays. Australia Day, which is the 26th and 27th. The one's the day, and then there's the day that's observed, and they're both national holidays. So I guess they get a 3-day weekend or something.
Okay.
But listen to some of these things they list on here. Monday, January 6th, we missed. Epiphany.
Epiphany?
They got these weird Christian holidays that even as a Catholic,
Epiphany?
I never heard of these things.
Is it Epiphany Day, or isn't Epiphany like a lightning bolt, an idea?
I guess I think what it refers to in this case is, even though it says Christian holiday, I think it refers to the first day after New Year's that the Australians can actually wake up without a hangover.
In the morning.
All right. How long did you work on that one? Very
I'm not
good.
absolutely sure.
Very good,
And then
John.
you have March 4th, Carnival Shrove Tuesday.
Shrove?
Yeah, another Christian holiday.
Wait,
Shrove.
wouldn't that be like Fat Tuesday? Isn't that
I don't know what it is. Because Wednesday's Ash Wednesday, so this is the pre-Easter week. And then you get into a local holiday on March 10th, the Adelaide Cup, a local holiday. Also Canberra Day, local holiday, I guess, in Canberra. That would be my guess. And it goes on and on. Here's one, a Christian holiday on Thursday, April 17th. Monday, Maundy, Thursday. Have you ever heard of these things?
Monday, Thursday? Is that what you just said?
Monday, Maundy.
Nah.
Friday, April 25th, Anzac Day. This is a national holiday.
Well, these are all fantastic donation opportunities, people.
Anzac Day.
You should be.
I could go on and on. I'm not going to do it.
You all should be totally celebrating.
Okay, anyway, I'm looking at this list. It's going to be difficult. Let's put it that way.
So will that be for Sunday? You're going to work on that, or what do you do?
Well, I can't because today's what, the 26th? Now it's just Muslim holidays. Ramadan, they get that listed.
Right.
Here's one. On August 4th, we got a possibility. New South Wales Bank Holiday. Here's one. August 4th, again, another holiday, local holiday. Northern Territory Picnic Day. They actually make this a holiday in Australia.
Well, it's all right. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
day.
I'm not against it.
But anyway, there's nothing that I think we can turn into a donation model opportunity. They're all weird. Okay. Anyway, that's my tribute to Australia.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and I've been very, very busy calling around. So, of course, I spoke to the Music Business Insider, who, by the way, said I was on the verge of donating. One of those guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. And, of course, I also had to speak directly with Eric, the constitutional lawyer here in Austin. After this event.
The 41-page memo was written about 14 months before the U.S. actually killed Anwar al-Awlaki, a U.S. citizen, by a drone strike in Yemen. And what the memo does is go step by step to the question of whether doing that would have been illegal. The memo was written in July of 2010. The drone strike was carried out about 14 months later. What it says is that it's true. There is a law that makes it illegal to kill an American citizen overseas. But the memo says there is a public safety justification exception to that, just as a policeman can lawfully kill someone in the United States when they have the proper reason for that. They say al-Awlaki was
I don't like your pants.
Operational in Al-Qaeda, that killing him would be a legitimate use of the war power, that it would not violate the international law of war, and that it was acceptable even though the killing would take place in Yemen, which was outside of the normal Al-Qaeda battlefield in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The memo says the Justice Department couldn't find any case that said that a battlefield couldn't be extended legally whenever someone was undertaking action against the U.S. outside that battlefield. So it said there is a right to target members of an enemy's armed forces. Capture wasn't feasible, and for all those reasons, the killing would be legally justified, the memo says, whether it was carried out by DOD operating the drone or the CIA.
All right, so everyone's asleep by the time this guy's done explaining it. So this memo, now, I'm a law groupie. I love reading legal documents and legislation, and boy, oh boy, this is why I had to call in Eric. I mean,
Yeah, no, I tried reading that thing, and the memo itself is a snooze.
well, but it's also
And it's a lot of this and that, and we can do this. And by the way, just while you're giving this analysis, I want to make sure that there's one other little. I don't know if you're going to bring it in or not, but how does any of this apply to the 16-year-old son and his buddy sitting in a cafe?
No. This memo is specifically only for his dad. And look, what's going on here, and I've seen this, it's happened to me. You sit in court, you hear the lawyer for the other side explain what you did wrong, and you go, oh, crap, that sounds right. I'm a horrible person, because it's very easy to do this. Now, this is redacted, so there's many, many pages missing. The thing starts, the publicly released document starts on page 12. But just to give you an idea of what I struggled with, we begin our legal analysis with a consideration of Section 1119 of Title 18 entitled Foreign Murder of United States Nationals. Subsection 1119B provides that a person who, being a national of the United States, kills or attempts to kill a national of the United States while such national is outside of the United States, and on and on and on. And they give, this is the way it works, they have literally tons of, so heavy, tons of reference to other cases, and that's how you prove a legal analysis. So I read through this, and the way I read it was, is someone calling you?
Go on.
Well, I want to know who's not listening to the show.
Well, it's probably, I don't know.
Well, did you pick it up?
Hello? Oh, it's a recording. It's a very important message.
Oh, for J.C. Dvorak?
It's my final notice to lower my credit card payment.
Oh, you better take advantage of that opportunity. Hang up.
Yeah.
We're doing a show here.
Yep.
All right. So my analysis, and this is a pretty heady document, and I had to Google a lot, and I spent a lot of time on it. And what it boils down to is any citizen may kill another U.S. citizen outside...
Legally kill.
And there's a difference between murder and manslaughter, but let's just use the word kill. But if that person, U.S. person, has killed, is killing, or intends to imminently kill other U.S. citizens, then you have the right to kill him.
Okay.
And but this only
seems fair.
It's very strange because in this particular analysis, this only applies the way they've set it up. If it's outside of the United States, then it's legal. And you and I could do that too. So if we had seen Anwar al-Awlaki, we could not have gone to jail. I mean, sure, I'd like to see that fight, but it would have been legal for either you or I to kill him.
Huh.
And their reasoning is thus, since U.S. persons are entities which could be companies, agencies, the government, or even the president, they have that same right. So I will read you the court. I email Eric, the constitutional lawyer. Here's me. Does this actually mean it's okay for the government to kill a U.S. citizen if down...
And before you get to that point, can you call me back?
You want me to call you back on Skype?
Yeah.
Something wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that was my climax. You harshed my mellow. All right. Well, I'll call you back. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I say to Eric, does this actually mean it's okay for the government to kill a U.S. citizen if done with, quote, proper authority from the executive? Does this hold up? And Eric writes back, this troubles you, citizen? Stop thinking. And then he sends a quote, but it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. So he sends me a little Orwell back. This is the constitutional lawyer. This bothers you, citizen? Stop thinking. But he agrees. The way they've set it up is, as long as it's done outside of the United States, because they had some cases that show that was a quote-unquote legal kill, it's valid.
Well, that's interesting because there was a number. I don't know that the administration itself, which seems to be in a kind of a mess, the administration itself knows this enough so that they couldn't answer the question that was presented, I think, to Carney, or Psaki or some of these people.
Yeah.
Can Americans be droned in the United States? Remember that? It was on one of the clips that we had. Somebody asked, can a drone strike be take place in the United States and kill somebody? They couldn't answer the question.
I remember quite well. I don't know. This is the assessment from, what is wrong with my mouse here? This is the assessment from our guy on the scene.
And the question remains, what about the 16-year-old kid? What was he? He was just sitting in a cafe. And I read it was very specific in the memo that it was impossible to get there's all attempts had to be made to at least pick the guy up or allow him to surrender himself.
I don't believe
was ever offered
right.
to him.
I don't think they've ever justified that. And I guess he would fall under the heading of, what do you call it? What casualties? They have a word for that.
The kid?
Collateral damage.
The kid?
Yeah.
They droned him specifically. What kind of collateral damage was it? Were they trying to blow up the cafe?
I don't think I can debate this with you.
Okay.
There's something very...
Yeah, really. What are we arguing about?
There's something very wrong with my mouse situation here. Hold on a second. I click, and it's... Okay. What is... All right. Never mind. Where are we?
So how did you conclude? What did you conclude from this research?
Well, unfortunately...
I was very disappointed in the memo having blank spaces.
Well, how about missing pages?
Yeah.
Entire missing pages. Well, this will unlikely be challenged, I presume, or it may be challenged for years and years and years. But it's really just, you hear the news guy, oh, well, whatever, imminent terror, kill, just like police can kill you here. It's like, okay, that's done.
My favorite analogy is, yeah, if you're a sniper in a tower at Austin, Texas, you can sniper, if you're shooting kids down on the ground, yeah, you can take this guy out. What's wrong with that?
Well,
have you heard that analogy?
Yeah, we've heard this many times. But this one is just like the police can kill you here in a home. Oh, yeah, I guess so. So my analysis is stock up on guns because the police are going to try and kill you. Don't travel outside of the country because that's where you can be legally killed.
By anybody.
And, under some justification of we couldn't capture him. There was no other way to do it. Well, I'm so sorry. We had to hellfire his ass. And this is true lawlessness, but there's more that we'll talk about today, but true lawlessness of our executive branch. It's beyond out of control. I have to shut my eyes to it and hope that maybe my child or my child's children will one day live in a world that has less douchebags running the show. Everyone's a lawyer. Everybody's a lawyer. And when you're lawyering, all you do, this is why lawyers are so rich, not all, but you here's my position. There's my position. Here's my position. There's my position. You go back and forth forever. And meanwhile, people get droned. It just never stops.
Well,
ever.
Here's the end result, at least so far. This is just a developing story, but I think is an interesting one. I'm sure there's going to be nothing but flack for all the Republicans. But play the clip. This is John Boehner suing the president over this exact thing you're talking about.
Yeah, this is fun.
Developing tonight, less than 2 weeks.
Hold on a second. See, there is something wrong. I'm grabbing. Oh, man, I've never seen this. I don't know what's going on, John. I click.
Oh, that could be responsible for the falling apart of the signal coming to me.
No. This is something. Hold on.
You have a crash going on.
No.
Your system's out of control. It's out of control, my friend.
Hold on a second. It's like the vectors for the mouse are off. You ever had that?
Well, I don't have a Mac, so no, I have never had that problem.
Okay, so I click somewhere in the file list.
Yeah,
so I click on a file and it selects a file three files down. What is it? There must be something. Oh, there must be crud on the mouse pad or something.
I hate to tell you this, but I think you need to reboot that sucker.
No. Well, we really don't want to be doing that. I think it's just there must be some trackpad crud. Hold on a second. Trackpad crud. Stand by. Evaluating trackpad crud issue.
Trackpad. You use a trackpad?
Yes.
Woo. How fancy can you get?
Okay, let's see if this worked.
Oh, he's using a trackpad.
I think that was it. Wow. I guess the must.
Does your mouse have a ball?
No, I have the magic trackpad.
Huh.
Okay. We're back. It's working. Apologies for the interruption.
Are you planning to initiate a lawsuit against the Obama administration and President Obama over his use of executive action?
I am.
Can you explain why that is necessary and what you hope to achieve?
You know, the Constitution makes it clear that a president's job is to faithfully execute the laws. In my view, the president has not faithfully executed the laws. We have a system of government outlined in our Constitution with the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Congress has its job to do, and so does the president. And when there's conflicts like this between the legislative branch and the administrative branch, it's, in my view, our responsibility to stand up for this institution in which we serve.
Could this lead to an impeachment proceeding against the president?
This is not about impeachment. This is about his faithfully executing the laws of our country.
Mr. Speaker, over 3 days, there's been 3 separate hearings on the IRS. We've heard from the IRS commissioner. The head archivist has said it's clear to him that they broke the law. Still, the administration has not responded or done anything about this. What else can and will the House of Representatives do to pursue the IRS case?
Well, I think the committees that have been looking at this, the Ways and Means Committee and the Government Reform Committee, I think at least one of the committees have put together a letter trying to get into what I would call the forensics of what happened and who else may be aware of this.
This pisses me off because, of course, I followed this. But he's not telling us what he's really suing the president over. I want a memo. I want some documentation.
I think they're still writing it up.
Yeah, but
he's just going.
It's PR. It's just PR crap.
No, I think this is all about, personally, I think this is all about that D.C. federal judge who refuses to take any of these cases and push them into the system like they're supposed to be. They're legally required to do. He hasn't done it. And they're going to, and so now and Holder obviously is behind the whole thing. No, don't do anything. We can do whatever we want, which I believe led to this, which is the lost emails at the EPA news scandal.
I know. Isn't this great? Now the EP in the same time period, 2010.
Yeah, this is actually this is a little long, this report, but this is actually really interesting, this particular report. I caught this on Megyn Kelly's show.
Developing tonight, less than 2 weeks after the IRS blamed a computer crash for wiping out evidence in a congressional investigation. It is deja vu all over again. Today, the EPA...
By the way, that should be banned. I'm not hereby banning people from saying that.
I agree.
Saying it's deja vu all over again.
It's the old meme that's dumb.
Yeah, and Megyn doesn't make you look smart. But it's dumb. Don't do it. And don't let them write that for you, okay? It's stupid.
It is deja vu all over again. Today, the EPA, yet another federal agency, says it too had a big crash and cannot provide the emails critical to an investigation by the House Oversight Committee. Why not? It's working for the IRS. Trace Gallagher has more from our West Coast Bureau. Trace?
Megyn, the missing emails involve Pebble Mine, a controversial project to mine for copper and gold in Alaska. Critics say the mine will damage the salmon population. Supporters say it would provide neater jobs and that current mining technologies eliminate negative impacts on the environment. Documents show this man, Philip North, a former EPA employee in Alaska, was working to kill the project as far back as 2008. The House Oversight Committee is investigating whether Mr. North and other government officials were in cahoots cahoots with Alaska tribal leaders and environmental groups, and that when the EPA ultimately vetoed Pebble Mine, it did so because of undue influence, not sound science. The committee has been trying for months to speak with Philip North, but they can't because he retired, hired a lawyer, and went AWOL. At last check, he was somewhere in New Zealand refusing to cooperate. And now they can't check his emails because his hard drive crashed in 2010, which apparently was a big year for government computer crashes. Here's the EPA administrator trying to explain. Listen.
Well, were all his emails preserved according to the Federal Records Act?
I think we have notified the appropriate authorities that we may have some emails that we cannot produce that we should have kept.
So
we've notified that.
I'm not aware
that
you
whether we can recover all these or not.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you opened this Pandora's box up, because I don't think I've ever been really incensed and personally angry about any so-called scandal with any administration, but this one really pisses me off. It's personal with me for my own personal IRS reasons. And I know what they do and how they act and how they treat you like a citizen and shut up. And I've also said, there's some people who really try to be helpful, but it's a trust system, you see? And the trust is, I am trusted as certainly as an independent entity. I don't work for a company. I am trusted to write up all my income. Here are my deductions. Here's what was business related, and send a check to the Treasury of the United States of America. That's what you write on it, to the United States Treasury, and they're trusting me that I'm not lying, and I'm pretty much going to be on the up and up because I know what happens when you fuddle around, and then they come in for the audit, and then you have to provide documentation, which can be emails. And if you don't have it, then we're cutting that off. And there has to be trust on the other side, and they're assholes. They are total jerk off F-wads. It makes me angry that this, you always think, I want to think good about people, but no, they are a militaristic Nazi outfit who antagonize people. We have this now. It's very clear. I've got a number of clips, and unless you want to say something now, stop me because I'm going to go.
Well, I only have one more clip that's kind of appropriate, but you probably have it, I'm guessing, which is Gowdy, the South Carolina.
Of course.
The South Carolina guy going after Mr. Cool.
Well, a lot of this is Mr. Cool, and I want to...
Mr. Cool is great. I talked about... Mimi and I were talking about this last night, and she says this he's either a psychopath or something because he can't believe anybody.
He's a professional.
That's what I keep telling her. He's just a professional. He's just there. I don't give a damn. I'm here for a reason. And the reason is I'm Mr. Cool.
Well, in fact, I'll start off. I'm not going to reverse the order. Now, these are longer than normal, but you'll never get any of this type. I mean, what is 2 minutes? You'll never get this kind of material played on mainstream because they have to hit the top of the hour, the weather, and the commercials.
And don't forget traffic on the 8s.
Here is my favorite douche knuckle on the Hill, Norton. This is
Norton.
Yeah, this is she's from the District of Columbia.
She's not even really a representative.
she's not allowed. She's like a facade. She's not allowed to vote.
Yeah, but she can be there to make trouble. And she is a douchebag.
All right. Well, we know that she calls people up and says, "Oh yeah, I don't see you on my donor list. That's very strange." We've played those clips of her. So, and I've met her, and she's creepy, very, very creepy. And she is now going to apologize to Mr. Cool for the horrible treatment he has received. But she actually starts off by saying, if you got a department in trouble, you call Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool will come in and fix it.
John Costanen, I have known you well before you came to Congress.
There it is. You're probably on a board with him somewhere.
Since coming to Congress, I have been impressed, not a little bit, by the confidence you have inspired in Republican and Democratic presidents alike. It's as if they saved you for jobs that others couldn't do didn't have the guts to do or didn't have the integrity to do.
Exactly. He's a hitman. You bring him in to fix the crap and kill people who are in the way.
You are well known on both sides of the aisle as the government's most versatile turnaround artist.
Turner, do you hear this? Yeah. He's a versatile turnaround artist.
When agencies is in trouble, turn to John Koskinen. Therefore, I begin my series of questions simply by offering you an apology. I believe you deserve one.
Catch that? I believe you deserve one. This is all about her.
Yeah, she's horrible. Yeah.
You deserve one because of accusations designed to sacrifice the reputation of a public service with a spotless reputation.
But I think she meant to say public servant, but she said public service for some reason.
She can't even read.
For political advantage.
Oh, political advantage.
Without a scintilla. And I use my words advisedly.
Oh, you got to go to Gowdy after this.
No. Scintilla. It's just the scintilla, which is SCINTILLA.
Yeah, there's just a scintilla of she said there's not a scintilla of evidence.
Not a scintilla, not a single and scintilla is a speck.
It's a speck of a speck
of evidence. It's vile enough to look a man in the face and accuse him of perjury without submitting any evidence.
It
is much worse when all of the evidence supports the version of the facts of the man you are facing.
Now, I think we should take it home to the conspiracy theory.
Whether it is that the Lerner crash occurred well before this investigation began.
I love this. It's now known as the Lerner crash. It's the Lerner crash.
She must be clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant.
Whether it's been confirmed by the decriminalization lab, all the evidence is on your side, Mr. Koskinen.
Oh.
And I want to point out for the record that the line of conspiracy hunting.
There we go. Conspiracy hunting. Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak. Conspiracy hunters.
With the Lerner crash. For the longest time, the line of questioning was about one subject alone. So we've moved from one scapegoat to another. We've just moved off of the notion that this was all a conspiracy directed on behalf of the White House. That also, without a crumb of evidence.
All right, shut up. Now, before I go to Trey Gowdy, I want a little interlude because there was more funny. And this was so insulting. This is yet another lawyer. Her name is O'Connor. And what is her... I forget her first name. She's a White House attorney. For like 6 months during this period, she worked at the IRS. And so she's being grilled by Chaffetz, another fun guy to sit across from, about, who did you talk to? Who did you work with? And then she comes out with the most and so does Chaffetz, by the way, both guilty, most disrespectful comments about your IT professionals, that I feel there should be outrage in the sysadmin and IT communities.
Well, I certainly interacted with Mr. Werfel quite a lot.
Okay. Mr. Werfel. Who else?
Mr. Wilkins was the chief counsel, and I interacted with him.
We assume that. Those are the people you reported to. I want to talk about who reported to you. Name some people that reported to you.
I think that the best way to do it is to...
I know, but you're here in front of Congress. You knew this was going to happen. Name one person that you interacted with.
I interact with a lot of people.
I know you did a lot of people. Name somebody.
Who I interacted with.
Yes.
The Deputy Chief Counsel, Chris Sterner.
Chris Stern. Anybody in the IT arena?
I didn't actually interact directly with people in the IT arena. There was somebody whose name was, I can't even remember his last name. I think his first name may have been Ben.
So a guy named Ben, a dude named Ben.
A dude named Ben. This is the respect people give to their IT professionals? A dude named Ben? You should be seeing blue screen of death, lady, and Chaffetz. This is an outrage. You need to have respect for these people. A dude named Ben.
Who else?
I don't recall.
You were there 6 months. You had people around you that would jump at your very presence. Who are these people?
Nobody ever jumped at my very presence. I can assure you of that.
So maybe after this Lerner crash, after the affair, the Lerner crash affair, maybe you'll get to learn a little bit more about your IT arena. Because it turns out that, these people are important. And what's going to happen? There's going to be some sysadmin dude named Ben, and he's going to say, these people are full of shit.
That's not going to happen. They're all signed off on non-disclosures. They won't be able to. I don't know how they're going to get around it, but they're not going to.
There will be. I'm expecting.
They're not going to come out. I mean, the one guy, the archivist, says that the IRS didn't follow the law.
Yeah. Well,
and that it's like it seems like a scintilla of evidence of some sort.
Oh, it gets worse. The company that was providing cloud backup for the IRS at that time, unfortunately included an Obama administration insider, a guy who's now running in Silicon Valley as the quote unquote Obama of Silicon Valley. It's so incestuously horrible. Now, to stay on the IT tip before we get to Gowdy, here's ISA with Mr. Cool. And it's so funny when you hear these people who really don't know what they're talking about say these, and just listen. It will freak you out to hear how they discuss IT and what their assessment of the situation is of the Lerner crash.
You put your mic pointed towards you so we could hear. Sure, sorry about that. No problem. Okay. So the bottom line is that you apparently were not capturing all emails. You were allowing her to delete emails but retain emails on her C drive so that 6 months after, I just want to make sure we get the record straight, 6 months after she moved them to her C drive, you were no longer in possession of those. Is that correct?
I love she moved them to her C drive. Really?
No. Well, what is correct?
What is correct is that each employee is limited to basically now 6,000 emails that they can hold on their email account.
What? John, let's both right now go into our Gmail. I don't even use my Gmail. And tell me how many emails you have in your inbox, in your account.
Well, I don't use Gmail much except just to send you stuff. But my regular account, as we speak, and I have 4 backed up boxes. But the active box has 40,000 emails in it. Well, and that essentially is the emails I've received. And by the way, and I do erase emails, but those are the leftover emails I've received since January 1st, which is about 6 months. I get about 85 to 100,000 emails a year, and I end up with about 40 at the end of the year.
So at the IRS, you would be 8 times over your limit.
I would be getting those memos.
Hey,
mailbox is full.
Is this hello? 1982, this is the year 2014 calling.
Which is stored on the agency's server. The reason there's a limitation is the agency does not have servers large enough to sustain the retention of all email.
Now, let me just. Now, your email provider is a local guy.
Local guy, CTYME.com.
Right. And he's able to store 40,000 emails in your inbox.
In the inbox that's active as we speak.
So, he's going to get a knock on the door from the IRS, and they want to see how he does that.
It's a miracle.
It really is. I run my own email server, and I have a small inbox because I do not like to keep everything in inbox, but I've got hundreds of thousands of emails. And I think the total cost per month, if I had to calculate it out and amortize, is maybe $15 or something.
That's probably way high.
I'm being royale.
So a decision was made 2 years ago when people looked at that and it was determined it would cost anywhere from $10 to $30 million to upgrade the system so that, in fact, all emails on the server would be preserved. Because of the budget constraints the agency was operating 2 years ago, the decision was made not to
$1.8 billion in IT.
So, and of course, this is what ISA's good. He rolls the guy right into it. Oh, I'm sorry. You have a $1.8 billion budget for IT alone. That's not for your guns. They have a whole separate budget for their 50 calibers, which they have. But he couldn't create a system. And of course, it's all Microsoft Exchange and stuff. So I'm sure there were all kinds of licensing issues, but still.
Is your budget $1.8 billion? On $1.8 billion, isn't the retention of key documents that the American people need to count on, like whether or not they're being honestly treated by your employees, and especially somebody at such a high level, isn't that in fact a priority that should have allowed for full retention?
If we had the right resources, there'd be a lot of priorities we'd have. The budget for this year...
So the American people should believe that if they don't have the resources to pay their taxes, they shouldn't pay their taxes, because if the IRS doesn't have the resources, it won't keep records.
Exactly. This is how I think. But yeah, then he goes off the rails as far as I'm concerned. This is the 2 more minutes I'm not going to play.
And by the way, isn't this just a matter of storage? It's not... It's a matter of big, monstrous new machines.
Put me on the hill. Let me ask some questions.
Storage.
Get the dude named Ben.
And there's also archiving technologies, which are
they could
have backed stuff up for the last 50 years.
And I'll reiterate, under Sarbanes-Oxley, if as a public company or an entity owned by a public company, you do not retain documents, emails, etc. for 5 years, you can be thrown in jail even if unintentional. $10 million fine. 5 years in jail if unintentional. But that doesn't count for our representatives. I'm outraged. But seriously, put me on the hill. I'll bring in Void Zero, a couple other guys, and the dude named Ben. And we'll get to the bottom of this real quick. And we can show exactly what we need. People are covering up evidence as we speak. You know that's happening. Hey, dude named Ben, can you RM star that star for me? This is all kinds of crap is going on. And now I think they're just wasting time, because we need to get to the bottom of the IT part, and it is unacceptable for terms such as glitch, hard drive crash, C drive. This is unacceptable vocabulary for this level of investigation. And I denounce anyone who calls it a C drive in a Senate testimony. Get some real IT people in there. Anyway.
Waiting.
Okay. So here, what?
I said, been waiting.
Yeah. Now Trey Gowdy, and I have the whole rant.
I have the best part of the rant if you don't want to play the whole thing.
I want to play it until you can't take it anymore.
Okay. Well, you know me. I can take it.
Trey Gowdy, who is a lawyer.
Right. He was a good trial attorney. He did a lot.
Very successful.
And he's a senator from South Carolina, and he loves going off the rails.
And he needs some styling advice. Trey, who the heck? Would you go to Supercuts? Did you see his hair?
That's always been his haircut. That's his.
No,
and by the way, that is a hairstyle I've seen from other Southerners that have that thin, kind of funny looking face.
Well, I could help him out. I mean, we need a little.
I think he
needs a mask in his hair, a little colorization, just a little more styling, 5 minutes and you'd look much better, Trey. Anyway.
Hit it.
Well, I'm going to help you with it. Okay. Spoliation of evidence is when a party fails to preserve evidence. There's a negative inference that the jury can draw from their failure to preserve the evidence. You with me? If you destroy documents, the jury can infer that those documents weren't going to be good for you. If you fail to keep documents, the jury can infer that those documents were not going to be good for you. You've heard the phrase spoliation of evidence, haven't you?
I can't recall ever hearing it.
I have exfoliated in the shower.
It's true in administrative hearings, civil hearings, criminal hearings.
I practiced law once 45 years ago, gave it up for Lent 1 year, never went back.
Mr. Cool. I think that was a mistake. a strategic error on behalf of Mr. Cool.
It probably was. He I guess at some point he loses his cool and has to throw a one-liner out there.
But you don't do that to Trey Gowdy.
No, wrong guy. He hasn't been watching C-SPAN enough.
All right. Well, let me tell you what you
say. Yes, sir. No, sir to Trey Gowdy.
Yeah, get past him as soon as possible because Trey Gowdy will eat you alive, as Mr. Cool is about to find out.
Would have found if you'd stuck with it. When a party has a duty to preserve evidence or records and they fail to do so, there is a negative inference that is drawn from their failure to preserve the evidence. It's common sense, right? If you destroyed something, the jury has a right to infer that whatever you destroyed would not have been good for you, or else every litigant would destroy whatever evidence was detrimental to them. Agreed?
I'm not sure. I think if you destroy the evidence and people could prove it, it wouldn't be a good thing for your defense.
Well, no, it's worse than that. The jury can draw, and they're instructed, they can draw a negative inference.
All right.
And that's true if a taxpayer is being sued by the IRS administratively, civilly, or prosecuted criminally, and they fail to keep documents, the jury can draw a negative inference from the fact that they didn't keep receipts or emails or documents.
Trey Gowdy, my hero.
So if it's true and it applies to a taxpayer, it ought to apply to the IRS as well. Agreed?
Is this a trial? Is this a jury?
Ooh, a second faux pas. Second faux pas.
Is that what you're?
I said administrative, civil, or criminal. If you want to go down that road, I'm happy to go down it with you, Commissioner. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned it.
Thank you.
You have already said multiple times today.
We're going to show you how we open up a can of whoop ass in the South, Mr. Cool.
That there was no evidence that you found of any criminal wrongdoing. I want you to tell me what criminal statutes you've evaluated.
I have not looked at any.
Well, then how can you possibly tell our fellow citizens that there's no criminal wrongdoing if you don't even know what statutes to look at?
Because I've seen no evidence that anyone consciously.
Well, how would you know what elements of the crime existed? You don't even know what statutes are at play. I'm going to ask you again. What statutes have you evaluated?
I think you can rely on common sense that nothing I have seen.
Ooh, this was the big mistake.
Common sense.
And it goes in a number of ways because the administration continuously talks about common sense regulation, common sense gun laws, common sense this, common sense that, which is in the legal arena useless.
Again, I think what statutes have you evaluated?
I think you can rely on common sense that nothing I have seen.
Common sense. Instead of the criminal code, you want to rely on common sense. No, Mr. You can shake your head all you want to, Commissioner. You have said today that there's no evidence of criminal wrongdoing. And I'm asking you what criminal statutes you have reviewed to reach that conclusion.
I've reviewed no criminal statute.
All right, so you don't have any idea whether there's any criminal conduct or not because you don't know the elements of the offense.
I've seen no evidence of wrongdoing.
Well, that's very different from no evidence of criminal misconduct, Commissioner.
Well, it seems to me if you haven't done wrongdoing, it'd be pretty hard to argue that you've had some criminal violation if you didn't.
Well, what did Lois Lerner mean when she said perhaps the FEC will save the day?
I have no idea.
What did she say? What did she mean when she said we need a project, but we need to be careful that it doesn't appear to be per se political?
Do we need to hear more? I think that was kind of the main thing.
He goes on. Yeah. He's great, but I think he got him riled up.
Yeah,
he reiterated a couple, and then finally, Mr. Cool got back to his old, cool. Instead of trying to go back and forth with these guys.
Sonasoft.
His success so far has been just to shut up, nod, and go, yeah, I guess. I don't know, whatever you say.
Shut up, slave.
Sonasoft is the company that provided the Sonasoft. Where are they? Why are they not testifying?
I don't know. Maybe they have and we didn't see it. I've been looking.
Get the dude named Ben.
And Ben, where's Ben?
Ben and the dude from Sonasoft, and let's talk about it. Now, there's lots of... There's lots of lawsuits now pending.
I'm surprised to see. What do you think Ms. Lerner meant when she says, I refuse to answer on the grounds it may tend to incriminate me?
Yeah, pleading the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but this is, as we know, these sessions are all theater. And you got to think that this is theater on Issa's and Gowdy's part as well. They're getting their points in, but where does it lead? It leads to nothing. So what happens now? No one ever gets thrown in jail. No one ever gets, you can lie in front of Congress. You can do whatever you want. It makes no difference.
Well, especially if the guy who's supposed to take care of these issues, the federal judge in D.C., refuses to do anything, even though he's required to, which I think this is what this is really all about. It's all about Hillary.
Huh.
As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, tell me.
Because they want to make sure and that's why they're doing this one thing after another, all these lost emails, are making a big stink about it so they can eventually point the finger at this guy for not doing anything in D.C., because if he does something, then he'll have to do something if Hillary refuses to testify about Benghazi, and she will. She'll just say, screw it. She already hinted at it. We had clips where she says, I'm over with this stuff. This is a bunch of politics. It's all just a showcase bullcrap. I'm not going to talk. I'm done. I said what I had to say, she says. She was in San Francisco yesterday.
Yeah.
So we went out to dinner.
Hold on a second.
What is thy bidding?
Oh, wrong one. I want this one.
What difference at this point does it make?
Yeah. Okay.
So she's in San Francisco. So we went. There was a restaurant.
Who's we?
Mimi, myself, Jay, and JC.
Oh, the whole family's. That's cool. The whole family's there.
We got a table for 6.
No wonder you wanted to spend an hour with me doing D-Star. Honey, I important stuff here. Important things here.
So we went to the Fleur de Lis is closing this month, and it's a big deal because it's one of the last super fancy places.
La Fleur de Lis est fermée.
Yeah, it's got a celebrity chef, Hubert Keller, and the whole thing. But anyway, I've known Hubert and his wife for a long time, so we had a long chat because Hillary, who Keller's cooked for the Clintons when he was president, Hillary decides she finds out about the restaurant closing, and so she, of course, barges in. And of course, they're all happy to see her because this kind of celebrity comes in. And
well, hey, it's the Hildebeest.
Yeah, she comes in and they close off an area for her, and then they block the streets. Their secret, the whole. She comes in with a huge entourage of Secret Service, so she's not just roaming around like Ron Paul did when he was running.
All right,
he didn't. Who needs this? But no, she's got to have all this entourage. So she comes in with a bunch of people, and they have dinner on the early seating. I missed her. We came in later.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, that's okay. I wouldn't have been able to. You can't get. It caused a huge mess. It was better that
beware the Hildebeest.
So it caused a huge mess, and everybody had to rush the restaurant. They started letting people in again because they couldn't have people coming in and out. It was a joke. But so I'm asking. So I'm asking the various waiters and wine guy and all the rest of them about. So what did she order? What was the deal? And everyone. So she came in.
Now that's investigative reporting. I like that. This is very good. All right.
So I find out. At first, of course, the owner's wife wouldn't say. She says she felt, but the waiters they talk. So apparently, she came in and she had on the table with maybe 3 or 4 people that none of them were recognizable by anybody. There were no famous people with Hillary that anybody in the wait staff could recognize. So they weren't famous in that regard. They all of them had the vegetarian dinner.
Yum.
And one of them said Hillary only deferred to the vegetarian. This person believed this, that Hillary took the vegetarian dinner because all the people were vegans, and so Hillary felt that she didn't want to interrupt the scene with a big chunk of meat.
Right. She'd like her usual meat-eating self.
So she ate. So it was all vegetarian. I said that was interesting. And in the process, JC Buzzkill Jr. brings up the fact that he's noticed in Silicon Valley, where he's now working.
Yes,
that all the CEOs of the major new .com
all vegans.
All. And I said, well, what about Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg goes out and shoots his own game. No, that's changed. Apparently, Zuckerberg doesn't have as much time as he used to, and he's given in to his vegetarian wife or vegan wife, and he's become one too.
Well, this is great because then we know there'll be a whole new flock or gaggle of Silicon Valley CEOs after this gaggle dies.
Yeah. Right. Whatever the case is, now it's disconcerting because if Hillary becomes, because if she gets into office influence with a bunch of influencers around her that are so strong-willed that they actually force her to become a vegetarian. Yeah, this is going to be a very bad presidency.
John C. Dvorak, very good point. She has no backbone.
Apparently not.
She gives in to the Vij.
Yep. Anyway, so that's my observation of the day.
Well, since Hillary probably
on the boots on the ground reporting.
Thank you. Since Hillary won't come up later in the show, I'm sure, I want to play something from the category Hillary 2016, which would not be Hillary, but Joe Biden, who will pander to anybody he possibly can to get votes. And while everyone was, all the mainstream media was talking about him saying, "Oh, I have no stocks or bonds or savings account or whatever," I was watching him speak at the Manufacturers Association. And I don't think Deutschland will be very happy with our boy Joe.
We have to keep our edge by doing three important things we're not doing well enough now. We have to invest in infrastructure. That used to be an overwhelming bipartisan consensus in the United States of America. For the past 150 years, it's been a consensus. Not at the moment. Secondly, we need the most skilled workforce in the world to match the needs of high-tech manufacturing and other enterprises. And thirdly, we have to pass an immigration bill. Look at Germany. Look at the rest of the world. We're the only non-xenophobic nation in the world. It's a major economy.
You Jew haters over there in Germany. What an idiot.
He is an idiot.
We're the only non-xenophobic country in the world. Look at Germany. They hate Jews. They skin them and turn them into lampshades.
Well, I'm sure he's thinking of the Turks.
What a moron.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have a lot of... he doesn't have a diplomatic gene.
He would be great, though, for the show. As president.
If he was president?
Before we thank our executive producers, I wanted to... I have to catch myself, and I hope people do this when you're a no agenda producer and when you've been infected with some of our thinking. God forbid it would be called critical thinking, because we can't have that. Everywhere I saw postings, from places like CNET and The Verge and BuzzFeed and take that, you cops! You can't search my cell phone. And for some reason, people think that because there was, and this is about the two cases that came before the Supreme Court, United States versus Riley, United States versus Wormy. And as you know, I'm a law groupie, so I look into these things. Now, first of all, this decision is not law, okay? This is an opinion and a decision by the court. Laws will be made based upon this opinion. But as usual, where people are all happy, like, yeah, they fail to read the small print. This is how the Department of Justice interpreted this. We will make use of whatever technology is available to preserve evidence on cell phones while seeking a warrant. See, what happens is it takes about 15 minutes. This was all discussed in this opinion. Very interesting to read. If the police want a warrant, it will take between 13 and 15 minutes for them to get that. And while that is taking place, they will put your cell phone in a Faraday bag. I kid you not. In a Faraday bag, so that you cannot remote wipe it. And she goes on to say, the spokesperson, we will assist our agents in determining when exigent circumstances or another applicable exception to the warrant requirement will permit them to search the phone immediately without a warrant. Oh, really? Let's consult the book of knowledge. So when you say exigent circumstances, it sounds like, man, this is emergency,
I think it's hot pursuit.
It literally means pressing or demanding. Exigent circumstances. It's and this actually refers to the language in the opinion itself. So the Supreme Court spoke of exigent circumstances. So if the officials feel it is pressing or demanding, then they can do it without a warrant. So will all you stupid idiots reading The Verge and CNET, yeah, take that, you New World Order? You've been completely duped by the truth. They actually made it easier, as usual, by calling into existence the exigent circumstances. Look the word up, EXIGENT, pressing, or it's pressing. Hello, we have a pressing issue here. Go ahead, no warrant needed. What we need is and by the way, this is a big problem. We need dead man switches. When this thing is more than 10 feet from my hand, it should melt. Or, here's an idea.
Actually, you could do that. You'd have to have something on you, and it would have to be pretty obscure, because otherwise you'd grab the dead man switch, the transmitter that would be the proximity device. I have
an idea. Opt out. Don't carry a stupid cell phone. Really? You don't need it. Oh, let me tweet. Oh, let me check something. Opt out from time to time.
Somebody tweeted me. Hold on, honey.
I got a like on my Facebook. Stop.
I was driving around yesterday, and I was just looking at how many people do you see on the street corners, they're ready to cross the street, on the phone, looking at their phone. It's like everybody is on their phone. I'm always thinking, how important do you think you are that you have to be on the phone?
Oh, it's not.
Or looking at your. It's like, the BlackBerry addicts back in the day. They're always looking at their email.
We called them Crackberry.
Are you a doctor? Are you a heart surgeon? And you can't get away from it for 1 second? It's unbelievable.
Well, it's an ego thing. That's the whole
people
problem.
People are walking across the street, and there's all kinds of videos of people falling down manholes and all the rest of it.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah, the other good start is to start anyway. All right.
This leads to nothing good. You need to control this. People need to learn to control it. Try it from time to time. Just leave the phone at home. You'll survive. Okay. No one will die. You'll see. It'll be hard. But it might be an emergency of the call. Just try it. You might actually like it. It can happen.
What if somebody needs to get a hold of you in an emergency? That is the stupidest excuse. How often in your life has there been an emergency where somebody absolutely has to get a hold of you? It happened on our show. I remember this. Your daughter.
Yeah. Once. Yeah, there was something going on.
She was in France or something. And she was lost.
And she was.
You're in England, and she got a hold of you, and then you had to call somebody else.
No, I was in San Francisco.
Oh, okay, you're in San Francisco. To me, it was like, you're not even anywhere in the same country. How can you do anything? It's not. If she didn't call you, she would have gotten out of it.
Well, actually, I was going to say she figured it all out, and it was a learning experience. But of course, first you call Daddy, of course. But yeah,
you fly over immediately on the Concorde, because I don't know how it would take you days to get there.
Now, I've weaned myself off the cell phone by taking my amateur radio license, so I have a form of security blanket in the event of an actual emergency. My ham radio could save my life. But otherwise,
that would be a real life-threatening emergency where everything's gone down.
I really don't need anything. And people are like, listen, these old geese, you stupid idiots, these old guys, you're keeping up with technology. Well, you know what? You're all going to be transhumanistic dead people. Go worship Kurzweil.
Yeah, see where that gets you.
Let us thank some of our executives.
Well, first I want to say in the morning.
Oh, yes. Well, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning, all the boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, something else, and all the dames
at sea. And in the morning to our human resources in the chat room, noagendastream.com, noagendachat.net. Forgot to do this for some reason on Sunday's show, so I need
almost again today.
Yes, thank you. I need to thank our artists. So the previous episode's art, that was 627, was brought to you by Kevlar. And 628 brought to you by 20 Watt Bulb. You can find all of the art submissions at noagendaartgenerator.com. Love what you guys are doing. I think, we talk about it enough. People understand what we're looking for.
Yeah, these more recent ones are artistic.
Yeah. 20 Watt Bulb was a very nice artistic concept. It was an original piece.
Yeah, it was very artsy.
Yeah.
Very artsy.
I like that.
Which is what we're looking for, if we can get it. Or, something that's just hilarious. That would probably beat the art.
Hilarious is always good.
Yeah. So let's thank a few people who contributed to show 629 before the artists start going to work. And we start off with a big donation, an Instanite.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't know who it is. In fact, we don't know where he is either. $1,000 came in. Don't mention my name. I work for the U.S. government at NATO and have a security clearance.
Do we have a most awesome audience or what?
Living in Brussels, if Adam could come up with a suitable Dutch and incomprehensible name for me, that would be fine. Longtime boner, first-time donor, American serviceman. I know a lot about khaki in the industry, CACI. Love the podcast. Also an Austin homeowner.
Wow.
Hope to be back there soon where I will force Adam to buy me a beer.
I'll buy you two.
And usually the Knights buy the beer, by the way. Just mentioning that to you, Sir Mike. P.S. Dutch women are pretty hot. This contribution will get me to knighthood, and I would like to be known as Sir Mike the Cyber Knight.
Okay, but he wants to use that, or do you want an incomprehensible
No,
name?
that's the other guy. I'm sorry, Mike. Our next guy, Sir Mike. No, he just says we hope to be back soon. Dutch women are pretty hot. He's not Mike. I don't know. I'm sorry. These are
you confused,
and they're right. You don't see this that often, so I got confused. He's not Sir Mike.
So why don't we just
you have to give him a name.
Okay, Distille uit Brussel.
Distille uit Brussel?
Yeah.
That means the Brussels
undercover.
The distiller would be the Brussels alcohol maker.
Very close. No, Stille, Stille. When at slang, when you say hij is een stille, that means undercover agent. Usually as a cop, but Distille in Brussel.
Sir
Distille in Brussel. Let me write it down.
Sir Distilla in Brussel.
Yeah, nice.
Close enough. Hey.
Okay.
That guy's funny. Then we go, Sir Mike is coming up. Michael Halfley is the way it's pronounced. In Eden Prairie, Minnesota, used to be where I think Control Data was up there. $800.02. This contribution will get me to knighthood, and I would like to be known as Sir Mike the Cyber Knight.
You got it.
There's Sir Mike.
Yeah, you got it.
Anwanor Gilau.
I think it's Anwanor Gilau. Anwanor.
That sounds right. In Buellton, California. 33333. Here's my first installment of 3 on the way to Damehood. Anwanor. Okay. Where that is. Look it up. I'm quite sick of my husband, Sir D.H. Slammer, taking credit for my ideas and thoughts that he sends into the show.
God damn it.
So I figure I'd better donate myself. In addition, as a Native American, okay, she's Indian, American Indian, a Native.
Oh, faux pas.
Well, no, but she's got a little extra for us here, which is going to be interesting. She's Native peoples. I would like to comment on the current public politicization, of the Redskins name, because there's a big controversy in the United States for people outside the country for one of our football teams.
Let's just stop for a second. The president of the United States started bitching about there's no reason for use a disparaging word like the Redskins, and then finally the U.S. Patent and Trade Office said your brand is invalid to be trademarked, which means I could go out now and sell Redskin T-shirts and not protected.
Right.
And so here is an actual American Indian who is going to
Native American
Indian who is going to, by the way, she did everything perfectly, but she forgot to send pictures with the email. What's up with that? Hello. she's going to tell us her feelings on this disparaging name.
Okay, and this is interesting because I didn't know this, and you think I would. The disparaging term redskin as opposed to red man, which is descriptive like white man or black man, does not refer to the color of one's skins or ethnicity.
Oh, hold on. This was unknown to me.
But rather the tanned pelt of a Native American. The U.S. Army officially offered Indian hunters, poachers, money for the scalps of Native Americans, $75 for a man, $50 for a woman, and $25 for a child. Some regions have fetched up to $200 for a quality redskin hide. It's ridiculous to give racism power by being offended by it, but the derogatory term redskin is not simply being racist. It's glorifying the senseless murder of men, women, and children, and not unlike naming a team the Gas Chambers.
Which I think would be a good idea to call the Berlin Gas Chambers. Would be a fantastic name for a team.
Well, that's just making a point here.
Yeah, I love that.
The government definitely should not regulate the name of a company or a team because it's essentially a form of free speech, but I do hope we as a society would not allow such a name to exist by withholding support. Opt out and don't reward this terminology with your hard-earned money, period. Give me a shut-up slave, just take your medicine, karma. And for my son, Andrew, who is 6 and loves the show, we have a lot of children listeners.
Good.
Mainly because, as we've learned, the jingles, although Adams plays less and less of them.
I beg to differ. Ever since you accused me of that correctly, I've been doing more and more of them.
If you see something, say something. So we need a shut up slave.
Shut up, slave.
Just take your medicine. Just take your medicine.
You've got karma.
If you see something, say something.
Karma.
Hey, kids! I played a karma.
Oh, it was in the middle.
Yeah, but since it's for her 6-year-old son, hey, it's Freddy the Firewall. Hey, go to your parents' room. Put this camera in there.
See, now I like that voice, but it's been banned from the show. I'm surprised you brought it in.
Well,
it's been banned from the show. You know that, right?
Why did it get banned again? I can't remember.
Because of a public outcry.
Hey, Andrew! It's Freddy the Firewall. I'm your buddy. Go to your mom's PayPal.
It's also creepy.
Yeah. Want to get high?
Associate executive producer is Luke Rayner from London, UK, 23456, one of our best. Hi, guys. Just found out today, and I'm getting made redundant from my college music lecturer job.
Oh, this is no good.
Due to awful UK statutory. It must be statutory redundancy laws. The payoff is a pittance. However, I couldn't be happier. I'm still only 31, started young, and have no plans to go back into teaching, confident that the knowledge I got from your show will help me find my way in life. I make donations from time to time, asking for karma for the various bike rides I organize. Seeing as these are going to be one of my only sources of income for a while, I'd like some special karma shot for this weekend's event, the Tour de Essex. I have
the Tour de Essex. That's funny.
I have another event coming up in August, which should get me to my knighthood. Until then, geez, keep up the great work. And anyone who is interested in riding on Sunday can find out more at sportive, sportive.co.uk.
Right on. Thank you very much for your contribution. And here's a big bike riding karma for the Tour de Essex.
You've got karma.
Woohoo!
Jacob Scherer in Crystal, Minnesota nuts. It's been too long since I made a donation, but we've been saving for a down payment. We have been jerked around by the bankers on our short sale. But
you can take that to the bank.
But there's finally light at the end of the tunnel. We are waiting on the results of the septic inspection and final appraisal, so it's a great time for some house karma. Thank you for all you guys do. Guardians of reality, I salute you.
You've got karma.
House karma.
And it's no, we got a spreadsheet, move it down there. Okay. And finally, a couple more, 200 buckers. Brian House in Bateau Bay, New South Wales, Australia, 200. Long one. Just a quick drive-by donation to reinforce my support for the best podcast in the universe. I tried tacking this note on the PayPal, but it cut me short for obvious reasons. Can I have a huge douchebag call out for security at Schiphol, please?
Douchebag. That would be Schiphol.
Yeah, Schiphol. Because beware slave scanners at gate G7. Does everyone get that?
You say the one to the left.
Slave scanners at gate G7. Beware.
The one to the left fails everyone, apparently.
Do not go to the left.
I was failed and required secondary groping. Maybe the stupid machine mistook my love handles for 20 kilograms of plastic. Don't know. Anyway, I shrugged this off as a glitch in calibration and wandered off. The guys at gate security at least were quite pleasant, much nicer than the TSA's guys.
Oh, yeah.
I sat down waiting for the boarding call and decided to see if it was just a one-off false positive. So he's decided, this is good.
Yeah.
He's decided to toy with the system. This never works out. But he's an Aussie, so, he's got...
Of course.
Let me name a couple. Okay, here he goes. Sat down, decided it was one-off. Much to my dismay, I saw that just about everyone was pulled aside for secondary grope. No one was spared, it seems. It had a huge yellow paints. Most had huge yellow paints showing on the screen. So much for reliable means of keeping us safe in the angry skies. I think these millimeter wave scanners are absolute junk that just made someone rich pushing these on airports.
You think?
Yeah.
Of course.
I wouldn't mind betting that there are people in the halls of the mighty there in the U.S. that grew fat from their deployment. Really, huh?
Oh, gee. Yeah, could it be?
Write this down. Okay, enough of my whining. Keep up the good work. I always count on both you giving some gritty analysis that I will not find anywhere else. For me, I only need a you will obey karma.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You will obey.
Oh, thank you very much.
You will obey. You will obey.
You've got karma.
And finally, $200 from Tim Anonymous in Massachusetts. And that's all. He's got nothing to say, just Tim Anonymous.
Yowza. Well, this is a good list. Thank you very much, executive producers and associate executive producers, for supporting the best podcast in the universe. Obviously, these are real credits. You can use them anywhere credits are recognized. LinkedIn seems to be a good place to do that. Unlike the phonies in Hollywood, we're very, very proud to vouch for you should anyone bring these credits into question. And I have a nice announcement and a huge thanks to Donah Hatton. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He has created that we already had Comic Strip Blogger.
Great.
Yeah, Comic Strip Blogger did which is actually very important. He did the JavaScript show notes search per show notes episode, which is it's looking through the entire file. It's like a mini index, because of course it's all OPML based, of each individual episode. But now we have Donah Hatton, and I've been waiting for someone like this to show up, who said, "Oh, it's interesting that Adam has put all of these show notes in an XML format. Gee, I wonder what I could do with that. Oh, I know. I could create a search engine." And we have now transformed the already existing search.nashownotes.com, which was a Google search, to the new show notes search, and it is phenomenal. So you just type in...
Researchers take note.
Yeah, and it gives you a results list with the episode number, and it drops down when you click on it. It shows you the original. It gives you, of course, since we've been saving all these in the excellent Freedom Controller, a copy of the text. It's insane.
There's nothing like it.
I have not seen anything like this for show notes ever.
No, this is yeah.
And you'll see on the right, it'll say video clips or docs, so that you can find a clip.
If I was a student who was taking high school, or especially a high school student that was one of the show supporters, producers, this would be a gold mine for me writing papers.
So let's try. Let's just try. Give me a search term. What do you want to find?
How about
I know Putin dogs.
Cooking dogs?
No, Putin dog. Remember he hated the dogs?
Oh, right. Putin dogs.
589. Sochi facilities still a work in progress. 589. Stop Sochi government from killing stray dogs. 513. I don't know what that's videos. 537. Putin finally resigned. There's all of this. It's all in here. Boom, bam, nailed it. You have a bongo? That's new.
You say that every time.
That's funny. You've never bongoed for me before.
I just did.
All right. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Donna, for doing that. It's fantastic. I think he's a student.
He's obviously codes a lot. It's, guys like that are, gold mines. And they always get rich if they play their cards right.
Well,
stay out of the open source community.
I'd like to introduce him to my friend Ben. Some dude named Ben. Ben. All right, continue to support us. We will be doing another show on Sunday.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we always need your continued propagation of the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Now, I will point out to you that we've been at it for an hour and 15 minutes. There's just too much to talk about. And you're going to say, when we're done, too long. The show is too long. But I don't know.
You say that.
I don't know what to do. I mean, it's not like this show always originally started as you and I just shooting the breeze. And it was, I was in London, you were in San Francisco, like half an hour, maybe once a week. And then we started to record it. I'm never done talking to you. I'm never done talking to you.
We have to tighten it up, I think.
Yeah, but how? I always want. I want to talk about that. We could talk about the Google I/O scam for hours.
Okay, we're going there. Okay, I was actually doing work on the show while you were watching the Google I/O presentations and then bitching to me, which is we don't do as much as we used to, over the messaging system.
Yeah, that's known as SMS. It's a newfangled.
Yeah, a newfangled messaging system. The phone somehow.
I think it's short messaging system is what I'd call it because it's very short.
Tends to be. And then give us your report. What do you think?
Well, I had to laugh at the whole wearables. Which, believe me, people, this is slave jewelry. Do not fall for this wearable scam.
Slave jewelry.
And it's slave jewelry. It is going to. This is just all it is collecting data. And Google's business is selling this data. Forget advertising. They know what they're doing. The thing that was just one element.
It has high blood pressure.
Yeah. The thing I really am. I think is dangerous and is so typical. Google has introduced a Gmail API. And I believe these moves are never good because we have several. Well, we have IMAP, and IMAP, without a doubt, has its challenges. I happen to be working with Dave Jones on something with the Freedom Control and IMAP right now, which is why it's an interesting topic for me. They have now created this API where you can make an OAuth. First, you're authorized through OAuth, and you can make a call to read a message or send a message. So they essentially want to enable developers to create new interfaces to Gmail, which a lot of it consists of reading your email. Now, that's aside, whatever. I don't like big companies who essentially Google did this with RSS. They had Reader, and then they said, oh, you know what? RSS is no good. Everybody to G+, and we're just shutting it down. Everyone was on Google Reader, and although RSS is very important to the infrastructure of the internet and still is in use everywhere, as a news delivery agent, it was killed. And now we have the Gmail API.
Abruptly, I might add.
Very abruptly. So we have the Gmail API, which of course they can choose to change whenever they want to. But now you will have all these apps, because it's from a developer standpoint, it's a lot easier to use the Gmail API And by the way, Microsoft has an API, a REST API for their Outlook, which is completely different. And there you go. Now, nothing talks to each other. One of the few things that even though IMAP has its challenges, you could pretty much use any email client and get into any email system. So, I predict it's not hard to do. Google will say, oh, we're deprecating iMac. Go away. Everyone has to be on the Gmail API. And this is never good. This is not how the internet should be working. So that saddens me. I can't say that they don't have the market because I think Gmail is very big, but it's not friend. This is a do evil move.
Yeah. Okay. I think you made your point.
That was the Google I/O conference and a bunch of a-holes walking around with glass. Okay, great. Woo! Morons.
Yeah, well, I don't get invited anymore.
Gee, I wonder why.
I don't know. It baffles me, actually.
What could it be?
Whatever the case, they, the wearables is going nowhere. Buzzkill Jr. pointed out that the American public is adverse to doctors, so why would they want to wear a bunch of items that tell them their blood pressure, their systolic, and the whatever numbers, and their on the fly beats per minute?
Because they're being given this illusion of living like the Jetsons, where let me swipe my watch. It's time for my meeting. It's a slave bracelet. Swear to God. Gotta do this. I've got to go. Time for me to. I've got to call this person. You're now taking commands from your watch. Are you insane? I don't understand. Why do people do that?
Insanity rules the roost. Okay. Anyway, and that's your report. That's good enough.
That's all you need. It was very tedious, I found.
And talking about these sort of things, which have to do with healthcare. So I ran into this. I played it for Mimi, and I'm going to play it. And it is a commercial, and it's called the Oddball Commercial. Is the clip. This commercial is using a technique of selling, and is selling healthcare, the Obamacare packages through a broker. But it's using a technique of selling. Let's see if you can identify it. I was stunned that it was used for this purpose. Maybe tongue-in-cheek, but I don't think so.
Get ready, America. The Affordable Health Care Act is here, and it's got everyone asking, how do I find affordable health insurance that's right for me? The answer is simpler than you think. Pick up the phone and call I Can Benefit right now. Waiting for you is a team of licensed insurance agents who understand health care reform and can help you find the right plan to take care of you and your family's health, because nothing is more important. Have you been denied in the past? I have. Struggling to pay high premiums? Join the hundreds of thousands of callers just like you, and let us help you find a plan that works for you and your budget. But I'm not stopping there. Call now and receive your free ICANN prescription savings card. Save up to 85% on prescription medications at over 60,000 pharmacies nationwide. Don't wait. Call now and get the answers you deserve and a price you'll love.
Call toll free 1-800-ERTNANUS. That's 1-800-ERTNANUS. Call now.
There was a lot in there. Your analysis would be appreciated.
This is a chopper dicer guy.
Yeah, selling a car. I thought he was selling a car.
Well, I thought he was selling a chopper, dicer, or a blender on one of those late night shows. Call now, but I didn't realize that the cadence and pacing and the kind of the way you emphasize certain words and the way everything was missing except wait, there's more.
Yeah,
which he kind of had in there rewritten. I've never seen this technique of selling, which is one of the guys died. The soap guy, the guy that sells this crazy soap that cleans everything.
Yeah.
I've never seen this used for anything but these kind of sleazy mail order products. I don't know. Maybe we can start seeing, Lexus commercials like this.
Well, it works. This stuff, that's the problem.
It gets your attention because of the way he talks.
I have a commercial by chance, which, hold on a second, where is it? This is in response to our conversation about the kill switch on the phone.
Yeah.
And I guess we kind of knew this, but I'd never really seen the advertisement because I rarely watch television where I would see this, which would be probably a local spot from Hyundai.
1 minute your car is right where you parked it, the next minute it's gone. What do? Blue Link is on the case as soon as you file a report with the appropriate police department. Once law enforcement locates the vehicle with the help of Blue Link, they can actually reduce the engine power of the vehicle to slow it down to safe levels. If the vehicle isn't being driven, they can even immobilize the engine management system and prevent the engine from starting. Woo-hoo! It's all possible with the theft recovery features of Blue Link.
Or the slave entrapment feature of Blue Link.
Yeah, this comes right out of a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
You know, where the guy's driving along and citizen,
stop the vehicle. Stop the vehicle or we will stop the vehicle.
Do not move, citizen. Your vehicle will now be slowed down to a safe speed. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle, citizen.
Which is where it's all leading. But I don't want my car to have these capabilities. If somebody steals the car, they steal that. I have other,
Hey, whatever happened to LoJack? That was fine.
Yeah, they identify where the car is, and that's that.
Just find it, and you're done. Well,
I don't like the idea of this remote-controlled car.
But just for young, do you ever look at Google Plus? Sometimes, right? You must.
Yeah, occasionally I get thrown into Google Plus, because Google just say, "Well, I think you need to go here." Boom. Then I'm in Google Plus.
You need to.
Sucks, by the way.
Well, of course, but I like Google Plus because the ham radio community uses it a lot, and these communities is where people post crap about ham radio. So the alternative is the Yahoo groups.
They're old-fashioned.
Go to Yahoo and try to go into a group. Now they say, you have to have a public profile before you can join the group. So I've been on Yahoo since 1998. I had to create a public profile. I just, that girl just got a little less sexier over there to me, Marissa, making me create a public profile. All right, so you should look at Mike Elgin's posts.
But before you go there, you mentioned her. I'm going to go just a little aside here. The big stink recently. I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, I saw this too.
So here's what happened. And of course, the question remains, she's got a million assistants. There's no excuse for what happened, except for the fact that she's notoriously tardy. She's late to her meetings with her. And she'll be in her office, but she won't see. You have to cool your heels for 45 minutes to an hour before you get to see her. Even though you have an appointment at 2:00, you won't see her till 3:15. So she had apparently the big advertising agencies, and I assume it's the big ones that are all part of this, the big groups, WPP and Omnicom and
That's
those
it.
guys.
That's the only two. There's nothing left.
Well, there's Publicis. I think they're still doing something.
Right.
I think they're still independent.
No. I think they're owned by WPP. We keep talking
whatever
about
the case is, they had a bunch of the big shots. These guys don't fool around, and they're also part of all the public relations agencies and the advertising agencies. So if they want to do something to you because they don't like you or you piss them off, Let's put it this way. When I was still in advertising, if John Wren from Omnicom wanted me to kiss his ass, yes. Yeah. With or without tongue, John. The point is that she obviously irked these guys, and so they put this news story out that went national. She's all notorious for being late, but every local, they're all giving her crap for being late, missing a meeting because she slept in, supposedly, which is bull crap too, because she's got assistants. They wouldn't let her do that. They'd be knocking on the door. Marissa, wake up! You got a meeting. So she just, I don't know, blew them off. No, I saw Dame Francine post on Google Plus, coincidentally, a large tome about this. And she immediately says, this is about the war on women. This is, which I think is, that's how she interpreted it. If this were a man, it wouldn't be anything like that. So, whatever. It'd been worse. The guy had been taken out of his CEO job. Look, they're out to get her. And they are now. Well, I think the media is out to get her, and I believe this is because there's jealousy involved. Look at who she's hiring. She's got Katie Couric. She got the New York Times guy. She just got another investigative reporter. She's building up a stable of entertainment people who are making a crap load of money, and all they got to do is blog something. Apparently, I don't see anything from any of these people. David Pogue, I guess he writes some stuff.
I think it's jealousy. Like, nah, fuck that. Fuck the Yahoo. Who do they think they are? We're going to kill you,
Maybe.
Yahoo.
It's possible.
And by the way, when
but
Terry Semel was CEO of Yahoo, he got crap all the time for all kinds of stuff.
he was never at the office, my understanding.
He was always
spent all his time in Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
showed up once a week.
Yeah.
He should get crap, and I think she should too. She's not, she's not being a good CEO by stiffing a bunch of advertising executives. Those guys are the big ones. It's not good for the company. Anyway, the point is that I think they're going after her now until she apologizes or something. I have no idea how she's going to get out of it.
Well, there's a lot of that. There's who was it? Who's the actor who was in Playboy magazine, and he said something to the effect of "The Jews run Hollywood."
Oh yeah.
So yeah, of course,
Mel Gibson.
No, he actually
was it Mel Gibson.
No, it was
another one.
Yeah, the guy who was in Planet of the Apes. He actually defended Mel Gibson, I think, in the article. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care.
Okay, we got back to the real topics.
Other things to do.
That was a real news item. Sorry.
Yeah, but, don't do that. You know what? I'm going to call you on this. That was not okay. Shouldn't do that too often. Let's talk about Agenda 21. A couple of now the Telegraph in the UK. I love how no one here would get away with it in a major publication. Title of the headline: "The Scandal of Fiddled Global Warming Data," and accuses NOAA and NASA and the USHC and the GISS, everyone of fiddling the data, and therefore creating the scam of climate change, which is going to affect people for decades. I love how they just get to do that. But then we have who posted this? But we had a bipartisan report which came out, and this is all part of this is a big push now. The president is doing this whole climate change push, and he released a progress report. Then, of course, everything's well timed because this is what these guys are doing. They're working on his legacy instead of trying to stop the floodgates of the C drive and the dude named Ben. Climate change could cost the United States hundreds of billions of dollars by the year 2100. So they're just writing whatever they want. I mean, that's easy. In the year 2100, people will have 3 legs. You can do anything you want.
In the year 2100.
There is an interesting lawsuit. I think it was a lawsuit. Screw that. I don't want to talk about that. Here, I'll play this bit from the president. So he was, I don't know where he was. I forget where he was. If you do not believe in the man-made global warming, which I think, John, you and I are in agreement on that, we also do not think it should be called carbon pollution. We went from global warming to climate change to carbon pollution, which should not be the same as carbon dioxide, which is now a deadly poisonous gas. So I guess when I'm kissing my wife, I should not exhale because she might die from the carbon pollution. Don't breathe in my face. I was dumbfounded by this ditty from him.
It's pretty rare that you encounter people who say that the problem of carbon pollution is not a problem. You've all, in most communities and workplaces, et cetera, when you talk to folks, they may not know how big a problem. They may not know exactly how it works. They may, doubt that we can do something about it. But generally, they don't just say, no, I don't believe anything scientists say. Except where? In Congress.
Hold on a second. You mean the representatives of the people? Wouldn't that mean, from a constitutional standpoint, would that not mean that the people are in disagreement? Because if it doesn't, then every single one of Congress should be taken out back, thrown in stocks, and or shot. Am I missing the point of Congress? He now separated the United States from their representatives. That's not okay.
This is just a slam at the Republicans, is what it is. To that audience, they all know it's all code.
Oh, wait.
It's code for the Republican idiots.
Oh, wait.
In Congress, folks will tell you climate change is a hoax or a fad or a plot. It's a liberal plot.
I like this. He's not using the conspiracy theory. He's using liberal plot.
I like that.
I like that too. Yeah, I like it. It's a new one. I like it. We should keep it in there.
Yeah.
And then most recently, because many who say that actually know better and they're just embarrassed, they duck the question.
They.
I'm not a scientist. Which really translates into, I accept that man-made climate change is real, but if I say so out loud, I will be run out of town by a bunch of fringe elements that think climate science is a liberal plot. So I'm going to just pretend like I don't know. I can't read.
The science is in. Science. The science is in. Science.
Okay, well, while you're playing that was horrible.
Yes, it is not okay. I agree.
Well, you're watching that. I'm watching a breakfast meeting, Christian Science Monitor, with our old friend Mike Rogers.
Ah, yes, Mike Rogers, soon to be disc jockey.
Now, by the way, I was watching this with Mimi, and I was just watching this. It was him. Mike Rogers is sitting around talking about Al Qaeda and all the rest of it. Here, just play one of these clips. Let's play, and I'll tell you what I was going to say. Play Mike Rogers there, all Al Qaeda minded background. This is the backgrounder. This kind of thing he's asking and doing a Q&A over breakfast with the staff of the Christian Science Monitor.
So there's no clear line yet between ISIS and AQAP. Is this just sort of, we can speculate that they may work together?
Well, we know that they all have relationships. They have had intermediary exchanges. We know that. Remember, once they were decertified, they decided they were going to go their own direction. Again, their goals and intentions are exactly the same. There isn't a fraction of a difference. The tactics of how they get there may have been different. And Zawahiri's position with them was, if I can't control you, I'm not going to have you as part of our group. And he did that primarily because being part of AQ gets you financing, it gets you status, it gets you recruits. What I think he underestimated is that these folks were winning on the battlefield. And when you're winning on the battlefield, that in and of itself attracts other jihadists because they want to be a part of the winning team, if you will. And so they're the same. They're exactly the same. They still have this kind of funny respect for each other. Again, I'd look at it as two, right? When they have a difference, they'll fight you. But when there's mutual benefit, they'll be together. And it's really the same kind of thing. They are Al-Qaeda minded. No different. They want to establish the caliphate. They'll use all the tools of political violence to do it.
Oh, hold on a second. You just threw that at me. I wasn't ready for that.
You should have been.
Yeah.
Caliphate!
Oh, God. Now, there's one little segment here, and then I'm going to give just a little bit of a interim analysis. But play this clip. This is the Mike Rogers telling the truth assessment. This is where he describes what was going on before where we are today with this ISIS group. And then the way he summarizes it is one of those moments where somebody's telling the truth by accident.
By accident, yes.
And you have to listen and to be honest about it, I watched this, I clipped this, it wasn't, again, one of those moments where, you didn't hear it until you just heard it instead of watching.
Come to those conclusions ourselves. It was very clear to me that years ago, ISIL or ISIS was pooling up in a dangerous way, building training camps, recruiting.
In Jordan.
Drawing in jihadists from around the world. We saw all of that happening. Then we get to remember, we talked for a long time, nothing happened to disrupt that. Then we saw them cross the border and go into Fallujah. Nothing happened. That was 6 or 8 months ago. So some notion that we wouldn't have seen this coming means that you weren't paying attention to the intelligence that was afforded us. Now, could they have come up and said, "Hey, let me give you the Fallujah update"? Maybe not. But nothing happened when they crossed the border. Nothing happened when they took Fallujah. Nothing happened when they took Mosul. Nothing happened when they took Tikrit. And then they said, "Oop, we got a problem." Right? I don't know. I think that is really an unfair assessment of what we knew and how we watched it develop.
Oh, okay. Tell me what you heard.
He said it was an unfair assessment. That the whole thing that he just said
was bullcrap.
Was bullcrap.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he said. And by the way, he goes on and on with more stuff. I'm not going to play all these clips now. But the kicker, which makes zero sense, is this one here. Just play the Mike Rogers Part 3 kicker.
Because of the potential. Now, did we know they were going into Iraq? I'm not sure, but they clearly want Lebanon.
Oh, a part of the West Clark 7.
So he goes through this long explanation about all this intelligence, and Lebanon. Then he says, "Did we know they were going into Iraq?" And then he says, "I don't know." Well, wait a minute. That's completely opposite of what you just said. About we saw them do this, we saw them do that. They were building up. They were making camps. Then they went to Iraq, and they did. Yeah, they knew. Anyway, well, this guy's annoying. I've got to. Yeah, so anyway, so I'm watching this. This is the part I wanted to get to, and he also talked about the no-fly list, which was just. He should be ashamed of himself for that, and we do have that clip. But so I'm watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy, they've got something on him, and they want him out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Because you don't go from this particular job, the head of the intelligence. This is the plum job.
And he's going. Yeah. Look at Kaiser Alexander is making $1 million a month reportedly in consulting Wall Street firms against cyber attacks.
And Rogers could be in one of these groups
easily.
But no, he gets a job as a DJ. Like you said, and which I'm sure it was like, okay, well, you've got to now. Mimi says maybe he's gay, and he's with little boys, or there's some little thing going on with this guy that they can't put up with anymore. And I'm looking at him. He does. I don't see the little boy thing, but he does have a certain look to him. But it had to go like this. We got you, you're hookers. It's good. It's drug dealing. I have no idea. But there's something he did that
interesting
irked the CIA. And they said, we're taking you out of this job. You are quitting.
And we got a nice gig.
And said, well, I can go as a consultant. No, you're not going to even be in the business anymore. We're getting you a job as a TV or a radio guy in a local station. You'll get your normal stipend. That's where you're working. You're working there, and that's where you're going to go. You're not going to go work for a Shirt Off or any of these other characters. You're not going to do what the guy the NSA did. You're not going to get any of that stuff. This is what we're getting. So I can't get a job like that. I don't know anything. I've never worked on a radio station. Don't worry about it. We've got you the job already. Because there's no way you're going to get that. A congressman, I don't care who he is, he's not going to go waltzing into some radios. I show him at KSFO. I'd like to get a talk job. Yeah, they're not going to screw yourself. What other talk jobs have you had? None. They're not going to give you that job. I don't care if you're a congressman. So they had to skid the wheel, oil the skids for this guy. He's out for a reason. The thing is, what that reason is could be anything.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's almost like you're a big celebrity on MTV, and all of a sudden you're doing a podcast. I mean, it's kind of similar.
You're ousted.
you're ousted from the mainstream somehow.
So that has to be because why this guy? And he says they talk about it. He talks about it with some lament. He says, "Well, I worked for the FBI, and then I was in the Army or something." He apparently has he's a government guy. He's been working for the government all his life, and he says, "I've been doing all these things, including being a soldier and being in the FBI, 28 years total. I don't know how long he was in Congress. I think 6 to, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 the most." And he ends up with this plum job, which has got to be one of the greatest jobs, as a committee head of the intelligence group, and they dog these guys to make sure that they're on. They can't have a a communist in that group. They have to. They just wouldn't put up with it. They can't talk to him, or a Putin supporter's not going to be in the committee. And I don't know what it is, but something happened because there's no way. I was watching him. I said, "Why would you give up this job? It's a gem.
Yeah.
You're on TV all the time."
Well, he would have to run for re-election. Then obviously, that was not going to happen because of the gay thing or the drug thing or whatever he's being blackmailed with.
Yeah.
So they want him out, and of course, really interesting who's going to come in his stead.
I don't know. Well, the head of the committee will be the interesting guy to check out.
Right.
But yeah, no, because I just can't. I mean, I don't want to just defame the guy, although we can do it on this show easy enough.
Easy, yeah.
Because we don't have suits telling us you can't do that. He's a sitting congressman. But this guy is not going to quit this job. He's just not going to. It's just that it makes zero sense. It's too much fun.
Speaking of replacements,
Drunk again, drinking cyan, drunk again.
Diane Sawyer, no longer host of ABC's World News Tonight.
I know this hurts you deeply.
It does, because I love her as a professional, as a woman, as a peer.
She actually does a very good job of interviewing.
I've always been a fan.
Yeah.
She is being replaced by, and this ties into what you just said, David Muir. Who is, I don't think he's out, but he is gay. He's lived with his boyfriend forever. But if you go to the David Muir Wikipedia, and I don't care, I don't want to out people, but it says he has never, the Wikipedia is like code. He has never been married and lives in New York.
What's David Muir?
Yeah, M-U-I-R.
What does he look like? Do I know what he looks like? Have I seen him?
Clean-cut guy,
Oh, this guy.
Of course, now we
this
have...
This guy is, gay or not gay, this guy is way too glib.
Well,
he is not going to get any watchers. He's glib.
I make a prediction.
Okay.
Big coming out.
Do they think it's because of Don over there, Don Lemon? They got to match that game over there.
Hello, have you seen the NFL thing? It's like everyone, the soccer player, the UN says, "Oh, you're a soccer player. Come out and tell us you're gay at the games." I predict.
What was this?
The United Nations said gay soccer players should come out at the World Cup to let everyone know it's okay.
Well, you get some action in Brazil.
I'm just that cynical that I believe this guy.
You are. That is the most cynical thing you've said for a while.
The guy is a drip. Although some of my gay friends think he's sexy, but I don't see it.
He's got kind of a horse face. He's a very John Kerry shaped head.
Well, I think the quote was, "I can get behind that guy." I'm like, okay, thank you. So they won't see the horse face. That's just a prediction. We'll just keep your eye on the prediction. Now,
okay, I put it in the book, actually.
Yeah, please do. A big gay story, and he will come out as gay, and it'll be great for the ratings. And, of course, now we have 3 white men hosting our news at night. That's diversity for you, people.
Yeah, well.
And since you now twice have said in this show, "Well, you were doing that."
Only once?
Twice.
Okay.
Twice.
I'm glad that this bugs you. And by the way, before you go on to that, I got one quick clip.
Okay.
Because you mentioned soccer, we got the soccer update.
Ah, yes, lovely.
Seems Godin heads it in off the corner kick for Uruguay. 1-0 final. Other winners, Colombia, Greece, and it was England and Costa Rica going 0-0.
0-0. A 0-0 game. How exciting. Anyway, okay.
I do want to remind everybody there's only one reason why football never caught on in America. There is no place for the commercials. What they've done now, they have you'll see the signs, they're electronic, and so they change. And
actually, that's funny.
But that's the only reason why.
No, I've been to soccer games, and it's that you actually you get to watch the whole game from beginning to end with a little break in the middle. And there's none of this bull crap. Stop the game, play 5 minutes of commercials for the TV audience, start the game again. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been following, of course, next to the IRS, the other I word is Iraq, or as we have been taught to say, Iraq. And a couple things going on. I'm going to give you a rundown, then I got a couple of clips to play. So John Kerry, watermelon head, douchebag, no good for nothing, Yaley, neocon, warmongering, horrible man, went to Baghdad. And if you look at the pictures, this is very funny. He's in the helicopter. This is how egotistical and how much of a show this really is, but how egotistical he is. So there's all these pictures of Kerry in the helicopter with the, I assume, Marines, getting out of the helicopter. Everybody is in full-on flak jackets, combat gear, with their helmet on. Kerry, in not a single picture does he have his helmet on. And I know why. All you have to look up is Dukakis helmet. Because can you imagine what that head looks like with a helmet on top? It would be the brunt of jokes forever. So he forgoes his personal safety, which I believe is probably not that much in peril in Baghdad, to look the part. Total PR.
That's a good. I give you a 10 on that one. That's a good call. I never thought of it.
Oh, so obvious.
That's exactly what it is. And you know what that also indicates?
He wants to run for president.
Another shot at it.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have Biden and Kerry and Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. Those are the four front runners.
And Kerry makes the most sense. I mean, if you want to, continue killing brown people in sand and be the winner.
Well, Kerry could easily put his creds up against Hillary and on paper look like the better candidate, but he is such a horrible dud.
As a douche.
And Hillary at least has a little bit of spark, but it's Elizabeth Warren that's got she's got the energy. And she matches the model better because we're at the end cycle of a depression and then the last.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. Elizabeth Warren, great. But you know what? We're all going to be dead if she becomes president, so good riddance. Then I looked at this 300 meme, and I've seen this now pop up where I actually read some blogs where someone says Obama's Spartan number. So this 300 has has a lot of historical significance. 300 Spartans.
It's also a reference to the movie, like just the new version.
Yes,
300 Part 2.
Yes,
Hello Hollywood.
Hello Hollywood. We got the 300. But the New York Times, in 2007, Bush was said 300 is a magical number. It's a 3. It would have been 330 would have been better, but the 300 Spartans has huge historical significance. And of course, Hello Hollywood, we have the movie. So none of that is coincidental. I've been paying attention to the Institute for the Study of War, of course, Kim Kagan, our girl. We love the Kim. And here, so they are watching. They do a little chart. They update every single day. The 4 areas where they believe ISIS, the Islamic State in Al-Sham, will create problems. At Tanf, which is a major border crossing, Abu Kamal. That's actually the main crossing between Iraq and Syria. This is where we had that 2008 CIA raid where they killed a whole bunch of people. Remember the helicopter were gunning people down?
Yep.
And then the most important one, I think, from my perspective, Yarubia, which is the gateway for the Seyhan pipeline. So be on the lookout for those 3 areas to erupt in a rubblization plot. The New York Times, they propagate the sectarian war theme with, this is actually quite disgusting, but of course, it's the New York Times. Middle East. Questions rebels use to tell Sunni from Shiite. And this is kind of like in the Second World War, they'd be like, who won the 1932 World Series? And if you didn't know the answer, then of course you were a Nazi. You were German. You get shot. So they're doing that. What kind of music do you listen to? I mean, it's crazy. They're really trying to show this phony baloney. Of course, there is sectarian issues, but phony baloney thing about the Sunnis and the Shias, and their differences are like, well, they pray a little differently, and Really, you think that that's what this is all about? Are we that stupid? Apparently.
Yes.
Then we have, we've got to start help with the promotion of these horrible ISIS, which are sometimes called Syrian rebels. Now they're recruiting teens or children, says Human Rights Watch, which is mainly funded by the United States State Department. So they're horrible. They're getting child soldiers. Be on the lookout for that.
Coney 2000.
Uh-huh. And diplomats now calling on Tony Blair to either step up or get out as a peace envoy. Of course, this is the worst person you can have in anywhere. And
kidding.
And here is President Obama on which he continues to call ISIS and the threats.
How urgent of a threat to the American people is ISIS?
I think it's fair to say that their extreme ideology poses a medium and long-term threat.
Medium and long-term threat? What does that even mean?
I have no idea why he'd say that.
Well, nothing this guy says is without reason.
Long-term threat. There are a lot of groups out there that probably have more advanced, immediate plans directed against the United States that we have to be on constant guard for. The thing about an organization like this is that typically when they control territory, because they're so violent, because they're so extreme, over time the local populations reject them. We've seen that time and time again.
Yeah, okay. So clearly extreme, and we've got to do something about it with our anti-terrorism partnership fund. And the president signed a little notice that, of course, no one really takes any note of, which is let me see, what is the actual, I have it here somewhere. It was an executive order regarding the reporting under Section 1206B of the NDAA 2014, and I, of course, went in and took a look at it. What is? And he's deferring that reporting to Watermelon Head Kerry. Congress established Section 1206 as a flexible funding mechanism. Wow, I wish I had one of those at home, eh? That's what my kid always thinks. I have a flexible funding mechanism in my pants. In order to provide the U.S. government with a means to respond rapidly to emerging, and some would say urgent, threats to U.S. security, including threats to the security of U.S. military forces that would pose too great a risk if left unattended. First established as a pilot program, Section 1206 authority is subject to continuous congressional scrutiny by guys like Mike Rogers. Issues range from the specific questions about the effectiveness of Section 1206 programs and whether it should be expanded or limited to the broader questions of whether DOD should retain its own T&E authority, which I guess is transportation and entertainment. Is that hookers and trucks?
I guess so.
And whether it should be reconsidered in the context of broader security assistance reform. So I believe what happens here is the president has given the authority to John Kerry, and this is according to Presidential Directive 23, which I looked up. You're not allowed to see Presidential Directive 23. That is classified, so they have a fact sheet about Presidential Directive 23. So we don't know. We don't really know what it is, but it pertains to this, which is security sector assistance. This is how we bring in the advisors and consultants. This is how the money is going to flow, and it's $2.2 billion that we have. It'll be $5 billion to companies to go kill brown people on our behalf.
So and this is a secret directive.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
The definition of security sector assistance. The security sector, this is the fact sheet. It's not the actual document.
Which means the important part's left out.
You think? The security sector is composed of those institutions to include partner governments and international organizations. What is that? Human Rights Watch, Greenpeace, who knows? That have the authority to use force to protect both the state and its citizens at home or abroad. So this gives international organizations the authority to use force to protect the state and its citizens at home or abroad, to maintain international peace and security, and to enforce the law and provide oversight of those organizations and forces.
We've deputized Greenpeace.
Or Friends of the Earth, I think, is a new one I'm looking at.
One of them.
It includes both military and civilian organizations and personnel operating at the international, regional, national, and subnational levels. Security sector actors include state security and law enforcement providers of that, governmental security and justice management and oversight bodies, civil society, institutions responsible for border management. These are all commercial companies, not government. Customs and civil emergencies, and non-state justice and security providers. Security sector assistance refers to the policies, programs, and activities the United States uses to engage with foreign partners, safety, be afraid. Goals. Here are the principal goals of this billions of dollars given to people who take no oath. They have guns and some kind of phony baloney uniforms. Help partner nations build sustainable capacity to address common security challenges. Disrupt and defeat transnational threats. What the hell? Promote partner support for U.S. interests. Pipelines. Promote universal values such as good governance. Rule of law.
Governance at the end of a gun.
That's right. Strengthen collective security and multinational defense arrangements and organizations. Now, just to give you an idea of where this is all taking place, I have the overview of where the money's being spent. It was crazy to read this. And I have the countries and some, I'll tell you what is being provided. This is not, so these are commercial companies. Burkina Faso, where the hell is that?
It's out there, and I think it's in the middle of nowhere, Africa.
Okay, Counterterrorism Capability Enhancement Logistics Company. Burundi, we have Mobility Support Company. National Defense Force Advanced Infantry Development. In Chad, we have logistic companies. In Kenya, Special Operations Regiment, Counterterrorism Capability, Aircraft and ISR Capability. ISR is Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance.
Nice.
Yeah, you're going to hear more about this one.
This is all about China.
Yes, it is, in fact, to kick the Chinese out. Libya, Special Operations Forces Support Company. So these are commercial companies. Mauritania, Logistics Support Package for Counterterrorism, Aircraft and Intelligence, Surveillance, Reconnaissance Capability. Niger, Airlock Logistics. Tunisia, Maritime Security. Uganda, Tactical Unmanned Aerial Systems Capability. Drones. Bulgaria, I'm not going to tell you what's in there. Croatia, Czech Republic, Estonia, Georgia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Romania, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Yemen. All your money going to contractors to protect our interests, which is making sure the pipelines are running, and to kill people who are brown. Now, next actor, Dianne Feinstein. While you were watching Mike Rogers, who was on the way out, I was watching Dianne Feinstein. And this woman brings on a meme fest with Candy Crowley.
Well, obviously we know about ISIS. We've seen its developments in Syria. We're aware of the fact that they are recruiting fighters in Europe. There have been arrests in Spain, France, and Germany.
Woo!
They've tried to assassinate the head of security in Beirut, and they were responsible for the killing of 3 or 4 people at a Brussels synagogue.
Yeah.
They are vicious. They have killed thousands of people. They have cut off heads.
Oh, no! They've cut off heads!
They are a major...
Hold on. I'm cutting off the heads! Wait, it gets better.
Heads. They are a major
brutal
threat.
bunch.
We knew they were a brutal bunch.
Did we know that
they are a brutal bunch, John?
I heard that.
The brutal bunch.
I heard that. Bunch.
Third of Iraq could be taken over so quickly? Did we see that coming?
I would have to say no.
She also didn't see it coming. How is this possible?
But
I think we just heard Mike Rogers say that they were briefed. And the administration, the Democratic administration, did nothing about it, but everyone saw it coming.
But she didn't see it coming. We couldn't know.
It's a real wake-up call.
She should even see more than he sees.
No, she's seen nothing. Nothing.
They are a major
brutal
threat.
bunch. And
we knew they were a brutal
bunch. Did we know
bunch.
that a third of Iraq could be taken over so quickly? Did we see that coming?
I would have to say no.
Scripted?
Yeah, hello.
Oh.
It's CNN, dude.
But I think it's a real wake-up call for the United States because they do want to develop the caliphate.
Oh!
Caliphate!
They do want to, and they now have just about destroyed the border with Syria. I think the president's doing the right thing. He's being a bit circumspect.
Circumspect? What does that even mean?
He's not doing the right thing.
This is what this is about. This is about turning Obama into a warmonger, and he's going to have to go. He's going to have to do it. And then he is now killing people, and this is what it's about, to position him to be the guy to pull the trigger.
He's being thoughtful. I think we're building our so-called ISR assets so that some...
That's the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets. We're building them with your taxpayer money.
Pinpointed action can be taken. But I think the most important thing that I can say today is that the Iraqi state as a state is in danger, that there is a limited period of time, that Ayatollah Ali Sistani and his message that we cannot repeat the mistakes of the past, that this Iraqi government, newly reorganizing.
Pay attention. New words for regime change.
Has to move and develop a coterie of leaders that can quickly reach out and reconcile.
Or
else
key here.
We're in the middle of a major Sunni-Shia war. That's my whole...
Yes. Though it's...
I have a couple of just simple questions. Now, these guys, Mike Rogers said this, and I want to, after we get back from our little segue coming up, I want to play some more clips now. The question is, they when these guys, this ISIS group was setting up shop, supposedly in eastern Syria, the area which was not controlled by the Syrian government.
The jihadi Disneyland, you mean?
The jihadi Disneyland, exactly.
Yes,
they had these training camps that they put together.
Yes.
Now, we have drones. And we knew about these training camps. Why didn't we just drone? We do it all over Pakistan. We identify these guys out of the blue. They're in the middle of Nowheresville.
Why would we drone the guys?
Nowheresistan.
Why would we drone the guys that we trained in Jordan to cause this rubblization?
I'm just asking the question because it seems to me that somebody should bring this up, even though we're cynically bringing it up because you just said that we're behind it all. But why doesn't somebody bring it up as an issue, as a topic, as something to say, why don't we do this or that? They never do that.
Well,
they just wring their hands and then they go, oh, God, what are we going to do now? We got to get rid of Maliki, and that's the solution to everything.
Yes. And this is exactly what is going to happen. Maliki will go under reorganization. She has a better word for it. She has a better word for it in a minute.
They're going to pivot.
No, you'll hear the term. So the ISIS, what they're calling ISIS, is synonymous with the Syrian rebels that we were funding and training in Jordan. I have in the show notes, 629er.noagendanotes.com, I have links to Der Spiegel, who has the training of the rebels in Jordan. We knew that they had 1,200 people of the Free Syrian Army in camps. I got the Guardian reporting on this, Reuters reporting on this. This is well known, but you are now watching, and it's even hard for me sometimes to believe that the news media is completely scripted, compromised, and lying. But it's clear. I mean, they're not telling the truth. They just aren't. And Finkelstein here, let's throw some fear into people, please.
Is the ISIS an immediate threat to U.S. Homeland Security?
Now, is that tell me, is this Candy Crowley, who's getting Dianne Feinstein for 20 minutes, does she sit at home pooping on the toilet, and this is her question? This is her question. of which the
Wow, what
answer
a
is
question.
obvious.
And the real answer is bull. No.
well, yeah, exactly.
Is the ISIS an immediate threat to U.S. homeland security?
Well, I believe it can be. I believe that the recruiting in Europe, there's no question in these three places, Spain, Germany.
Now, this is the second time she's bringing up Spain and Germany. Hello, Germany. Be careful.
Well, yeah, let me say something. Mike
did you see something?
If you see something, say something.
In fact, I did. I saw Mike Rogers say the same thing. Especially targeting Germany.
Do you have a clip? Do you have a clip?
It's in one of these long clips, and I don't know which one it is.
We'll get to it. We'll get to
pull it out. But take my word for it.
This is
actually, no, Mike Rogers on the no-fly zone, the no-fly list, which we'll play in a little while. Yeah, I think it's in there.
Right.
Same thing. It's Germany. He says they got they got passport from Germany. The guy's going to go to Germany, and now he can waltz in the United States without a visa.
In fact, we have a term for this. Passport terrorists.
Three places, Spain, Germany, the number of passport fighters. We know there are at least 100 Americans that have gone to the arena to fight who have an American passport, who are going to try to get back. We know that they can go back to their European country, and if it's a visa waiver country, come right into the United States.
Okay, stop.
Your ESTA program.
What Rogers was saying in his little breakfast meeting. So this is another question that comes to mind. We are going to visa restrict access from Germany or the EU to the United States. That's what the end result, what they're all saying in such a way, gives them an excuse to do this. Why are we going to do this? Is it just for the fees so we can pay for, because we don't have enough money? What is the point?
Well,
you can't say well and then stop talking.
I'm thinking multiple things. One, Germany is a little too big for their britches, and I believe there is a movement amongst the neocons, the Kagans, the Noodlemans, the Kerrys, to put them in their place. Those gas chamber people. There is something about Germany that is. I have some other proof of that the neocons are not liking, and that has to do with, of course, the Ukraine and Russia, etc. Because they're doing business with Russia, big business.
This is related to because this is related to the NSA stuff too, which was targeting the Germans.
Merkel.
And so we get the Germans being targeted by the NSA. Now we're making all this noise about these passport terrorists going through, mostly Germany. They're talking about Spain. She mentions it once, but Rogers was Germany. The Germans are screwing us out of screwing with the Russians kind of thing, because they get all the pipelines are coming through Germany, and then they're in bed with the Russians. And so all boils down, I hate to say it, right back to Snowden. You got your pipelines.
You got your Snowden.
This is where I think we need to build our intelligence to see that we can disrupt a plot in this country before it happens, because there will be plots to kill Americans.
There will be plots to kill Americans. A liberal plot?
Probably.
So, yes, you're right. This is the ESTA visa system. I believe you're right. It will be clamped down on, perhaps for the entire EU, but it seems like people from Spain and Germany will be denied easy access. Now, down to the final.
Of course, will solve nothing when it comes to terrorists, but it will
make your life difficult.
Hell.
But
yeah.
And I think Dianne Feinstein, I think she just gets off on it. But I think it makes her horny. I have power.
That is not a pretty thought.
What is the U.S. contingency plan?
Contingency plan. What is the definition of a contingency plan, John?
In case of emergency, break glass.
What is the U.S. contingency plan for this? Candidly, I don't know.
Well, thanks. You're running the show and you have no break glass plan?
The U.S. contingency plan is for a complete takeover of Syria and Iraq. I do know that what we're on the foot of is a major Sunni-Shia war. Woo! So the question comes...
Don't say anything about Snowden or pipelines, but it's Sunni-Shia war.
What John Kerry is doing is important. He's in Cairo. Hopefully he's going to meet with...
Oh, yeah. By the way, he handed out $500 million to Sisi there. $500 million. Was it $5 billion? Maybe it was billions.
No, I don't know. It wasn't. Well, we only give him, I think, $3 or $4 billion a year, so it'd probably be some pittance.
Let me just hold on. I have it here. I have it at show notes. U.S. unlocks military aid. $575 million.
With Qatar, with Saudi Arabia,
our friends,
with other Sunni nations, and say, look, we need your help. At the same time, I think, and this is my view, that we should be talking with Iran. You have to realize Sunnis are in the majority in the world, and the Shia now, with the mobilization of Muqtada Sadr's Mahdi army.
Oh, what? That guy's back now? This is
never ends.
This is great. This is Muqtada al-Sadr and his Mahdi army.
And by the way, somebody pointed out on one of these shows, where's the Arab League?
Good point.
Where's the Arab League?
I don't know. They're part of the Al-Qaeda army. I don't know. At the height, the Mahdi army's popularity was strong enough to influence local government, the police, in cooperation with Sunni Iraqis and their supporters. The group was popular amongst Iraqi police forces, national independent cadres, and elites party that ran in 2005 Iraqi election was closely linked with the army. But this disbanded. But now Feinstein is talking like, oh, they're just back. And indeed, we have NBC.
They've got to get the band back.
Hey, man, we're getting the band back together. The headline, anti-U.S. cleric Muqtada al-Sadr retakes stage amid Iraq turmoil. They are doing anything they can.
That will be tens of thousands of Shiite fighters.
Kicking ass.
And we're on the verge of something very serious.
In Iraq, I think I'm gonna crap my pants.
And I think we have to meet it. I think our allies have to help us. And I think Iran can play a major role in moving out Maliki.
Candy Crowley is coughing her lungs out.
She's got acid reflux issues.
Oh, really?
Developing a reconciliation government. That is if there is the desire to maintain Iraq as a state.
No.
The supreme leader in Iran has said the U.S. needs to stay out of this. Iraqi can handle this. Iraqi troops can handle this. How much credence should we give that?
Well, I think we should stay out of it right now. I think the reconciliation has to be done.
Reconciliation. That's it. That reconciliation, new term for sorry, Buster, regime change.
Well, I think we should stay out of it right now. I think the reconciliation has to be done through a new government in Iraq, and it has to be effective. We've got to keep the Kurds. We've got to enable them to have some share of oil, get outstanding tax receipts, do those kinds of things. And
what?
What? What's she talking about?
Listen to this.
Sounds like our 51st state or something.
Tax receipts? What?
Outstanding tax.
Wait, hold on. I got to roll that back. What the hell would she just...
We've got to keep the Kurds. We've got to enable them to have some share of oil, get outstanding tax receipts.
Now, this is interesting. She is literally saying pipelines. We have to make sure the Kurds get their share of oil, which is now going directly to Israel and some of it to Turkey, but a lot of it via Israel to Europe.
We've got to keep the Kurds. We've got to enable them to
keep the Kurds. She's saying it.
Have some share of oil, get outstanding tax receipts, do those kinds of things. And I think there has to be Sunni participation in the government. Otherwise, it's a real problem.
Okie dokie.
There you go. Shall we?
We're talking about receipts.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to take a little break?
I would think that we could take a break.
Okay.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
By taking a break, of course, we mean thanking some of our people that contributed to the show, became producers for show 629.
It actually is a break from the incredible douche knuckles that we deal with on a daily basis. Get rid of all these people, please.
So an anonymous donation came in from Uruguay of $130.16. And there's a note here that says JACD's rant about anonymous donations. A lot of these donations that come in anonymously, I personally prefer would either come in as a check, because it's very easy to anonymize that. You just don't put it. I just don't list it for Eric to put on this particular presentation. Or that's how Tim Anonymous came in. Mm-hmm. Or to do $49.99, and if you wanted to contribute $400, you just do 4 of those donations.
Right.
It's easier on us because the chances of missing the donation thing is higher if it's a donation like $130.16. I just want to make that clear to people
that we always try to keep anonymous what you want, but
it happens. So, but this guy got through with the right thing, but it made me want to do that rant. Charles Gene Kohler in Mount Terrace, Washington, not an anonymous donation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That did come in as a check, actually. Check. Chris Heffley, Galleon, Ohio, $100. Precision Creations, The Woodlands, Texas, $100. Where is that?
I have no idea.
Vladimir Stashkov.
In Russia.
In Russia.
Oh, wait, it is a special kind of donation, which I was not ready for.
999.
Yes, correct.
999.
Yeah.
Sir Mitch Bidron in Long Beach, California, another special donation of $77.77.
That's a sack of sevens, but we don't have a.
Oh, I thought we had a sack of sevens.
No.
He did send an email note asking for. I know we should give it to him. He's going to a bone marrow biopsy.
And is that today that he's doing that?
Well, not today, it's Sunday, but he'll be doing that, and he needs some karma just to make sure he's okay.
Well,
and he's a sir. He's a knight. He says, "I'm pulling my knighthood." He's got some note he sent.
Yes, I hate to pull the knight card.
Yes.
But he wants.
But I'm afraid I need to. Would you please bestow a little karma on me? I'm getting a bone marrow biopsy. I'm in the morning and could use all the help I can get. And that's all he asked for.
Absolutely. Of course.
Knights have privileges.
You've got karma.
Knights definitely have privileges. By the way,
we get
I did the rain stick on Sunday.
Yeah.
Non-stop here.
Good.
It's non-stop.
Stick? I can do it. I got to bring mine out. Mine's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Kristen Smith in Blyton, Lincolnshire, UK, $75. Yeah, she had a note here. There's usage caps. Yeah, okay. In the UK. I think we knew that.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dennison in South Surrey, Canada, $75. Brian Ward in Downs, Illinois, $74.14. This is a 4th of July donation. Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, thank you for your courage. Not sure where that comes from, but okay.
Alrighty.
Joshua Milos in Union City, California, $74.14. Chad Inman in Los Angeles, California, $74.14. And also $74.14 from Robert Mueller in Chesapeake, Virginia, a common donor. He contributes quite a bit. He should be a knight. He should be Sir Robert Mueller. Von Klitschka in Salem, Oregon, and Jason Daniels in Dallas, Texas. Abel Barbero in Argentina, which I don't know, we have too many Argentinians listening.
Very few.
$69.69. And he says, I've been a cheap boner for too long and do not de-douche me. This is a small donation, but still little compared to the hours of entertainment you provide.
Oh, thank you.
But he does want a MILF for his lovely Julianne. We'll give him
I can do that right now.
MILF, that's one mother I'd like to
Why not?
Raymond Bressler, the karma comes at the end. Raymond Bressler, Arlington, Washington, $69.33. Taylor Oglesby, 6633 in San Antonio. Pat, we got him a little job karma at the end. Pat Deary in Sarnia, which is interesting, in Ontario, Canada. And that's not my Canadian accent, by the way. Canada. He's from Canada. Simon Moon, 5533. Whoops. Jeez.
What?
It just jumped. In Hong Kong.
I thought something happened. Something went wrong.
Yeah, the spreadsheet just jumped a page.
He had a long note, and he has a birthday call out for Miss Ingrid Jackson, which we'll be doing in a moment. And he says she's celebrating today, Thursday the 26th. Very good.
Nice. Zama Kohai in Shinjuku.
Shinjuku. I've been there.
Shinjuku, to Japan.
Apparently, Japan.jp domains not supported by PayPal.
Yes, it's a problem. But if you send directly to noagenda@dvorak.org, it seems to work.
Interesting.
Okay. Eric's Harjo in Cardiff, UK, 5382 has a comment, slave strong. And $50 donations from Shad Rich in Seattle, Washington, Bruce Schwalm at Parts Unknown, Julie McNeil in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Alan Ebentrod in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Julie says, last year on our way to hike Appalachian Trail, my husband put your show on. I've been a devoted listener ever since.
Nice.
That's very cool.
Appalachian Trail. I wonder if they run into the senator up there.
Wow.
Alan Ebentrod in Ann Arbor, Michigan just said his name. Matthew Comstock in Wolcott, Connecticut. Macy Stolowski.
Almost every single show.
In Calgary,
yeah,
where all the money is. Daniel Tentalo in Lakewood Village, Texas. Marta Karlstrom in Portland, Oregon. And finally, Benjamin Smith over here in Oakland, California. Hey, Benjamin. And our friend David Trotsky, who I believe is a knight. Sir David should be on there. We had it on one of the checks, and somebody didn't get called up.
It really does help if you if you add that into your PayPal, so we know.
And actually, on the check, one guy did put this, and I forgot to write it on the thing. Ben, Sir Ben.
Oh, some dude named Ben.
It turns out wrote on his check, but anyway, okay. Sorry. That's our donors, contributors, producers for show 629. I want to thank them all. And a lot of people came in with the. Actually, the other donation, which was 40 something, the European version of the, I said that they don't celebrate it. We got nothing.
Well, we also got no global warming temperature donations. But I think you try to be too cutesy with this.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then what's the dog with the cat and the dog in the picture? Make your own. I mean, you phoned it in, man. Make your own caption. Really?
The best one was this is Mickey and
yeah, that wasn't
Adam.
That was not best. That was not great. I pulled a 3333 donation note out just for yucks. Just want to let you guys know that instead of charging Loud Magazine for the use of some pictures I've shot from a concert in print, instead I had them donate a suitable amount to No Agenda. So you should see 3333 coming in from Nick Alport, who was more than happy to oblige. I will add it to my future night bookkeeping. They got a good deal. I got published, you got paid, a win-win situation. Regards, Torben Brendan Peterson. Thank you very much. And we read all your notes, everything you guys send in. It's always highly appreciated. As is, I don't know, did you ever get the wine from Elise Garling from her family in New York?
Yeah, the German wine.
They make it in New York at their house there, at their brownstone.
Oh no, that's a different wine. That I believe so.
It's a red, 2011. So we cracked that last night or 2 nights ago. Oh my God.
Well, maybe I'm wondering whether I got it.
I'll take a picture of the label.
Yeah, because if I got it, I may have put it aside because I don't remember opening it. That's for sure.
Mickey was like saying, "Hey, we want to buy a case." I'm like, "They don't sell it. You cannot buy it from them."
No, this is the home winemakers occasionally make world-class wine, and I've always discussed this. You can, if you're babying, you go buy the best grapes you can afford. You make some wine, you follow all the right procedures, and you make a whole barrel, plus probably a demi-jean. You want to have some to top off your barrel, so you have to have some left over in a glass container. And you make a big barrel of the wine, and then you baby it. You just essentially monitor that barrel, and you check it, and you're just real careful with it, and you top it off, and you keep it so it ages as long as you think it should, and then you bottle it.
Gee, I'm sorry I brought this up.
Very sorry, I'm telling you this. Very often, this is world-class product.
It is so delicious.
But there's not a lot of it. It's usually drunk by them, and it competes. That's what makes me think. That's why I believe that you take a Chateau Latour, Chateau Margaux that make 275,000 bottles of world-class wine. That's where the real genius is.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
It's hard to do that. It's not as hard if you know what you're doing to make one great barrel.
And the Turkey's wine sector is pretty much done. Did they make any wine worth drinking
in Turkey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, when I was in Greece and I had the Greek wines, and I went to Turkey and they had their local Turkish wines. They were good.
Turkish wine sector suffering from marketing restrictions brought about by new alcohol regulations.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's bad news there. But anyway, she at least sent me a picture of her and a salmon. She got a king, one of those king salmons.
Yeah, delicious.
Another thing I'd love from her. We have amazing people listening.
Well, now I got to check into this wine.
I'll take a picture of the label. You can see it.
Yeah. What do they do with that?
Okay. I think that is it. We want to thank everybody, even, of course, perhaps even in particular, the people who donate monthly, weekly, lower amounts anonymously. You keep us going, and we appreciate it. It's value for value system. And if you get any value, then give us some value back. It seems that we help people live a healthier life.
It's sanity.
Sanity is our middle name.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Stephen says happy birthday to his son Gabriel. Happy 11th birthday. And Simon, who donated earlier, says happy birthday to Miss Ingrid Jackson. She celebrates today. Happy birthday from your best buddies here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Then we have 2 nightings today, which is nice. They were our top 2 executive producers.
Double nice.
Double nice. So grab your blade there. Do you have your blade?
It's stuck.
Gee, it never gets old, John. It's stuck. Anonymous NATO man, step forward. And Michael Halfley, step forward. Both of you have donated to the best podcast in the universe, the amount of $1,000 or more, and we are very appreciative of that. So for this, we bring you into the table that is round of the knights and the dames, and pronounce the Sir Distilla in Brussels and Sir Mike the Cyber Knight. Come on down, gents, for whiskey and wet lights, hookers and blow, Renfords and Chardonnay, hot pants and booze, wenches and beer, sparkling cider and escots, or mutton and mead. And please go to noagendanation.com/rings. And wouldn't it be funny if you're in Brussels at NATO, and you're walking around, you see the guys on the dais, and all of a sudden, bling, has a little night ring shining at you. How cool would that be? It would be very cool, I think.
And then you say in the morning, ITM.
I always love it when I get an in the morning. Did you hear what happened in Poland?
No.
What happened? Some funny stuff. So Europe is in disarray, big disarray, and they're frightening the citizens everywhere. So I think I told you a couple of shows ago about this magazine that overheard Polish politicians. So now there's this huge scandal. There may have to be new elections because the foreign minister has been saying things that have been caught on audio tape. He says Cameron is incompetent. He's no good, which is always good to say about your European partners. But then there's this little ditty, which, let me see, where is it here? They'll bleep it. I have the exact word. Hold on, why is this not starting? I have the exact words, but I just want to give you the news report first.
Polish government has said an organised criminal group is trying to destabilise the state.
Ooh, but that would usually be us. If someone's trying to destabilize something, I'd look at the Americans.
By releasing details of secretly recorded conversations between ministers and officials.
That would be us too.
The magazine published what it claims are excerpts of a conversation between the foreign minister, Radoslaw Sikorski, and former finance minister, Jacek.
The Polish government has indirectly confirmed the authenticity of the leaked conversations which you're talking about, where we hear the foreign minister calling his country's alliance with America worthless. And during the conversation, Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski gets quite vulgar, describing Warsaw's relationship to Washington, in one which Poland is the partner who is always performing sexual favors and receiving nothing in return.
The actual word he used was blowjob. He said, well, Poland is always blowing America and we don't get anything in return except the pearly necklace. Yeah, so this is, this is not, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And
well, this is like Noodleman saying, fuck the EU. Said that. I mean, how come she's still in a job?
Because she is part of the team. She's on the team. So we have now the EU wanting a stronger military industry, which means EU army, which is coming. The one thing that they say, we'll never have a European army. Well, there you go. That didn't last long.
No, we have to have one or war won't break out.
The Dutch will be sending more troops to Afghanistan for the NATO mission. Albania now on deck, being considered for membership.
Brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, Albania, of course, is uniquely qualified to be a part of the blockade against Russia.
Yes, a good spot.
Very good spot. And then there's a lot of just complete fear-mongering about ISIS and the Brits, man, they are... Well, okay, here is the BBC interviewing an actor, as far as I'm concerned, but it's an angry Muslim man, and this is the passport fighters that Finkelstein and Roger Hammer. Ooh, it's Roger Stephen Finkelheimer have been talking about.
I think these wars, they're killing all these innocent people for nothing.
This is supposed to be an angry Muslim man, but I believe it's an actor.
I think they should be killed. Everyone should be treated equally. And people aren't being treated equally, and it's wrong. I don't know what's going on, but it needs to be stopped.
You seem incredibly angry.
It's making me upset.
It's making me upset. I'm very angry.
It's like a bad radio play.
It's very bad radio play.
And listen to the whole different ambiance of the recording, even of her mic and his mic.
People aren't being treated equally, and it's wrong. I don't know what's going on, but it needs to be stopped.
You seem incredibly angry.
It's making me upset because
Hello, Editing 101.
I live here, but I might have family back there, and they're getting killed for no reason. It makes me very upset. My family are from Pakistan, but we live here in England. But I'm just giving you an example. If my family were living in Syria, I want to go there and kill them people. And it makes me angry at the same time.
He's reading it. He's not even a very good actor.
But now we'll go out on the streets because, of course, we're very, very frightened of the ISIS. And the ISIS are going to come and they're plotting to kill Britons.
Yeah, can you stop for a second? Because I would make this bet, and I'd make it here and I'd make it there too. If you actually did go out on the streets and you didn't have these, you didn't have to go through 1 million people to find one guy, you could go from person to person asking, what do you think about ISIS? And they would go,
what?
You mean ice in my sky? Ice? What do you mean? Ice in the beer?
What? Is that?
I don't like ice in the beer. Ice is not good. Ice is not good. ISIS. Not ice is.
You mean DJ ISIS?
I mean, you wouldn't get nobody. Anyway,
well, listen to... now, it sounds like this is a real person. It's only one, of course, but she is being propagated and held up to get everyone into the program because obviously ISIS threat justifies greater surveillance powers in the UK.
Oh.
That is obvious. This
makes
is
sense.
This is according to, what's his name? Defense Secretary Liam Fox.
Fox. Yes, right.
Let me see what he says. Britain's security services may need to be given greater powers of surveillance to monitor extremists from ISIS excuse me, when they return home to Britain from Iraq and Syria. The former Defense Secretary Liam Fox said, former. A majority of people accept that an ideological battle means that authorities will need greater powers to intercept the communications of extremists. But I think the Britons will be all in on this.
Surely their internet can be checked to see what they've been looking up before they go and the conversations that they've been having.
But this is a big controversial area because that means snooping. Yeah. And, the government always says, look, if you haven't committed a crime, you've got nothing to fear. But nobody really likes the idea of having people peering into your emails.
But
it's
if
not
it
just
saves lives eventually, that's what you may have to do.
Oh, no.
Well, we have to give in. I mean, if you want to be safe, eventually you just have to do it.
Give in, citizen. Give in.
That is pretty much.
That's our EU report, our UK report.
I think. Let's see if I think that's all the. Well, we have
all the bad news there is.
Yeah, Farage put his group together. Looks like Juncker will be the replacement for Barroso, which leaves Helle Thorne-Schmidt-Schwerin, the selfie hottie from Denmark, open for the Heiko Hermann job.
Yeah, I think that should be perfect.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, she'll be saying all kinds of funny stuff. It'll be great for the show.
She's a goofball.
It'll be great for the show. Very excited about that. We were talking about Germany. There was something else, and this popped up. There was a presidential notification. Let me use the new No Agenda search. Hold on, because we had this in the show notes. Let's see if this works. I love your bongos. Okay, I'm going to put in here bees. And indeed, show 628, White House task force charged with saving bees from mysterious decline. Presidential memorandum creating a federal strategy to promote the health of honeybees and other pollinators. Now, I always thought this was a conspiracy theory. That's what people, the honeybees, it's conspiracy theory, Monsanto. Well, turns out there's something going on with the bees.
Oregon leaders are taking action as thousands and thousands of bees are dying, likely from pesticides. It's a big concern because insects, especially honeybees, pollinate about a third of what we eat. The dead bees have shown up in Sandy and Estacada. Beekeeper Matt Reed went to a friend's home in Sandy to check out a beehive and found thousands of dead bees inside.
The bees have no idea these chemicals are in the nectar that they're sucking out of these plants. They take it back to their hive and they feed it to other bees and to their young, and it will kill the entire colony.
There was also a report of thousands of dead bees in Eugene. The Oregon Department of Agriculture is suspending the license of a Eugene company that used a pesticide that likely contributed to the die-off.
Okay, so of course, I'm seeing this. Wait a minute, what is going on? I actually immediately thought it's a competition. Something's going on. Now, so I go down my little rabbit hole. CBS, what's killing the honeybees? Mystery may be solved. Well, this is amazing. The president has a whole task force, but CBS solved the mystery of colony collapse disorder, known as CCD. It turns out it's two pesticides in particular that have been linked to these mass bee deaths. Those pesticides would be imidacloprid. It's in the Book of Knowledge. India Mike, India Delta.
India Mike, India Delta.
Alpha Charlie.
Alpha Charlie.
Lima Oscar Papa.
Oscar Papa.
Romeo India Delta.
Romeo India Delta. Okay. Oh, it's Bayer.
Thank you. What kind of company is that?
German.
Now let's go to the next one. Clothianidin. Charlie
Well,
Lee.
you even have to look that one up, but I'm assuming that's German. So that's our thesis for today's show, by the way.
Yes, it is German. Exactly. Now, the people who are really propagating this are FOE, Friends. Boy, I should do an echo for that one. These guys deserve it. Hold on a second. It's Friends of the Earth. My goodness. Now, I think there's a sidetrack to this. So one is it's the Germans with their horrible pesticides. But the FOE specifically says that these pesticides are used in products created by Germans, sold by, where is it? Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. Then if you look at this Friends of Earth, I'm thinking this is also some kind of union scam, some union busting scam or something going on, because why specifically Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart? And if you look at this Friends of the Earth.
Okay, here, before you continue, I've got to point something out to make sure that people are aware that what you're evolving here is I think the point's going to be very well taken. Because one of the things that we noticed on a show about a month ago is that most of that bee colony collapse has not happened in Australia.
Yeah, how's that possible?
And so now I looked it up while you were talking. I looked up the first one, the imidacloprid, whatever it's pronounced. I can't tell. I should be able to pronounce these things, but I can't. Which is the Bayer product. Despite this product being banned in France for more than 10 years, bee colony collapse disorder has not decreased. In Australia, where it's widely used, there are no reports of bee colony collapse disorder.
So this is either about the Germans, or there's something with this union thing, which I haven't quite figured out, but they specifically call it Friends of the Earth. Now, Friends of the Earth, FOE.org, they do about $5 million in revenue, not a huge organization, but they're affiliated to, this is Sierra Club. This is a subdivision of the Sierra Club.
Okay.
And if you look at their board of directors, Whitney Bluestein and Bluestein Associates LLC. Whitney Bluestein is strategic advisor. So they have an actual law firm who is the board. Whitney Bluestein from Bluestein Associates. Then we have Janie Chase, founder and CEO of the Center for Environmental Education. Then we have Cecil D. Corbin Mark, Policy Initiatives in New York. Harriet Crosby, co-founder and president of Institute for Soviet American Relations. I found that kind of interesting because maybe there's a German thing there. Clarence Dittow, director, Center for Auto Safety. Then we have there was like a typical shill down here. Avis Ogilvy Moore, big advertising shills in there. Stephen Nemeth, founder, CEO of Rhino Films. He gets all the video deals. Chris Payne, very famous guy who did Who Killed the Electric Car. You remember that?
Yep.
Arlie Shard, founder, director, Environmental Media Services Chair.
I thought I'm seeing electric cars on the road. I thought they were killed.
David Zwick, founder of Clean Water Action. And very, very big, powerful lobbying group with their connection, of course, with the Sierra Club. And then just to throw it in my face, they have consultants who they also list. They have David Freeman, senior advisor. He's with the Friends of the Earth's nuclear campaign. What has he done? He's a renowned expert on clean energy, I'm sure. Written some books. Fred Felleman, long time. But wait, here it comes. Ian Illuminato. Now, when your name
is indeed his real name,
if your name is Ian Illuminato, I mean, come on. That just slayed me right there.
All right, so get to your point.
And so my point is, there is something afoot because the president comes up with, as you just pointed out, this bogative all of a sudden it's really important. The bee colony. This was, if you mentioned this a year ago, it was a conspiracy theory. Now it's mysterious, and we need a presidential task force. And it turns out it's all German chemicals, and the companies that sell it are big union a-hole companies. So what is going on? You tell me.
I think we've already identified what's going on. It's a war on Germany.
Yeah.
Kind of a switch if you think about it.
Krieg am Deutschland.
Why don't you play Mike Rogers on the no-fly list? This guy should be ashamed of himself for this line of thinking.
This would also make sense, by the way. The use of the term blitzkrieg would also be an anti-German sentiment.
Yep.
Today, United States plays Germany. I predict we're going to kick their ass.
We have to. It don't make sense.
I wasn't in the Senate briefing, but I imagine that's what those senators walked out thinking. This is pretty bad. And they have complete safe haven. There's nothing to disrupt their activity. They can plan it, finance it, train for it. The training camps have been unabated for years. They just let it go. That's how you get to this place where you wonder, we're in some trouble. And of course, the most recent court ruling that says you can't have a no-fly list. Perfect. That's a great recipe for disaster. I don't know if there was a federal ruling, I think, yesterday on that.
In Oregon.
Yeah. Was it Oregon?
It was Oregon. It was the Federal District Court for the District of Oregon. We might as well get you to say a little more about it. Said that putting, the procedures for putting someone on the no-fly list were inadequate, violated the Fifth Amendment right to due process, called on Homeland Security Department to provide more information to people about why they're on the list and also ways for getting off the list. So you would disagree with that?
So we have, according to public reports, an organization trying to build bombs that circumvent security. They're working with another organization, according to public reports, in Syria that have expressed an interest in trying to show their chops by having an international terrorist attack. And now you just had a judge rule that you can't put someone on a no-fly list. You tell me why I can't sleep at night. Right? That makes no sense whatsoever. And by the way, the international community has no-fly lists. That means you'll just be able to fly domestically. Congratulations. That is about the worst of all world. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. If they want to refine them, maybe they can do that. And they ought to look at refining them fairly quickly.
Yeah. I thought they had the German part in it, but I guess not.
No, they had no German part.
No, but it's in there, believe me.
But we're on the lookout now. It's clear.
It's clear.
A war, a Krieg am Deutschland is what we're calling it.
Here's another possibility for what could be a 0-0 match. The Germans win by cheating.
Yeah, they'll have a hands or something. It'll be hands, but the ref won't call. Have you seen all this Ghana stuff, by the way, talking about cheating in soccer?
No.
Oh my gosh. So Ghana.
By the way, I'm going to mention this to everyone so they know I'm sincere about this. I'm not really paying much attention to these games.
Oh, no, fine. I'll do that. I like it.
Okay.
Okay, so Macau busted
some guy got bit the other day.
Nah, whatever. Macau busted up a $645 million World Cup betting ring, which was completely fixed. University of Canberra says World Cup at risk of match fixing. Now, Ghana, who we beat, I will point out, just sent a plane with $3 million to calm the team down because they're like, hey, we're not getting paid. Where's our money? Because I guess that they're corrupt. And now they have this.
Oh, so wait, what you're saying is, hey, you guys are supposed to be betting on your own game. That's how you make your money, dummies.
Oh, yeah. Well,
throw the game and you'll do fine.
That's exactly right. Then I have a little bit of a clip. It's undercover video, and it's much easier to see the video with the subtitles. But I'll tell you what the guy is saying, and then maybe you can get a little context. So this is an official from the Ghana Football Association who was saying, oh, no, we just buy off the refs, and then the players, you got to pay the players a little bit because this guy's looking to have the match thrown, the Ghana match thrown. And then a second guy, you'll know it's a second guy because there's a woman asking him questions. He says the whole thing is corrupt, from FIFA in Switzerland all the way down to Sudan. He says the football is one big corrupt business. Duh.
Everywhere it happens, the referees can change the matches.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is an option as well that they can look at.
You probably can't hear that, can you?
No, I can't.
Nah. Well,
when you have games that are 0-0, you know something's wrong with the sport itself. Now, the Ghana-U.S. game, I think it went like this. The U.S. scored 1, and it became a 1-0 game, and that's the way it was supposed to end. And then I think what happened, they're fooling around trying to stall the game, and some bonehead kicked it in. And so it became 1-1. And now they're screwed because now the Americans, who just stink, by the way, we stink at soccer. So the Americans now have to score again because they're supposed to win. So the Ghana guys, they're doing everything they can except kick it into the goal, the American goal, or their own goal. They didn't do that, but it was pretty damn close to it. And so the Americans finally got the one. They got the second point, and then okay, now we can go home happy. But these games are obviously just ridiculous.
Yes. So are we ready to make the final call? Because I'm feeling, if there truly is a war on Germany, this would be the battle royale. I have a feeling we're gonna win this one because we've got hey, you guys throw the game or we kill Merkel.
No, God. Well,
or something like that.
Well, I think the American team is probably
we have video and audio tape of all these players. Hey, look what you were doing last night. Oops.
Well, you're going to say the Americans going to win the game versus Germany.
Yes, that's my feeling.
I'm going to stick with my guns and say the Germans are going to win by cheating, so we can emphasize. And I think the Germans are going to go into the finals with. The German-Netherlands game would be interesting, but the Germans should maybe get to the end. Brazil's winning the whole thing. There's no question in my mind about that.
Seems to be the only thing possible, unless you want all of that country to just erupt in flames, burn down in flames. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're the favorites, to make it so it's not like a big surprise. Yeah. And they're all notorious for being good soccer players.
Well, I like your theory of the Germans win by a hair by cheating. I like that because then we can build up some hate for their Blitz am Deutschland, the Blitzkrieg am Deutschland. I like that idea.
Something is up, and I think this whole show today, even though we didn't plan it.
No, I didn't. Not at all. In fact, I wasn't even thinking about bringing in the bees.
And now it's apparent that something's up, and they're going to stick it to Germany. And that's why these guys are on TV bitching about Germany. And because the Germans obviously didn't play ball with us on whatever we're trying to do to the Russians. And
hold on. I guess they played the game already.
Who won?
Germany won.
Aha.
1-0.
Ah.
Well, let's see if they cheated.
Well, that'll be in the news stories. The Germans won already. Right on top of this thing.
Hey,
I'm on it for you, folks.
We can't wait to watch this game. Wow. Let's see. German. Let's just Google the stories. Hold on. Germany, USA, cheat. Let's see if someone's already. I don't see any cheats.
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
But USA advances after losing to Germany because of the score, I guess.
I don't know how that works.
Well,
we got to get out of here. We're running over time.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep... I got some good nuclear stuff. I'll keep that. What else do we have? But we just leave? Should we just...
I think we're good. We can move it to the Sunday show. I'm going to be short.
I got stuff on dirty bombs from our nuclear night, Sir Atomic Rod. They got some great info on dirty bombs.
I've got the government executive story. EPA employees told to stop pooping in the hallway.
Yeah. Gee, read The Verge much?
This is the original story in Government Executive Magazine.
Yeah,
The Verge picked up on it.
Every single you can Google it now, that story, and every single story has a picture of a toilet.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll be
we won't be doing that story then.
No. Hey, we'll have the results of the USA Germany match for you.
Yeah. And I'm predicting a 1-0 score.
Hold on a second. I'm getting something from the chat room. German Parliament Verizon. What am I supposed to do with this?
I don't know. We'll deal with it over the next few days. Okay. So I think we're on to something new. New thing. And we stumbled on it just by accident, by just going over these news stories in detail.
NSA fears prompt Germany to end Verizon contract with German parliament.
Oh, that means war.
Der Blitzkrieg am Deutschland. Wir kommen für das Fahrrad. Can't wait. Oh, it'll be so much fun. All right, everybody. Once again, we have given you a plethora of information. Go off, process, relax, don't watch any news, turn off your television, and just take your meds, slave. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 in the Travis Heights Hideout in the capital of the Drone Star State, where you can be killed legally. In the morning, I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I don't think you can be killed legally, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday with more of the best podcasts in the universe right here on No Agenda.
To your knees, yet they're always friendly and they're ready to please.
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA